kauden kovimpiin koitoksiin. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
Hello, everybody, and welcome into this coverage of the ECL Elite Season 11. We are in the final week of the season. I'm Drew Goldfarb, a.k.a. Farbsy, joined by Tugi. And Tugi, we have a couple of matchups coming up today that have a lot of things to do with what games we might be seeing a week from today when the playoffs might manage to get underway.
Absolutely, Drew. I mean, again, it's great to be back with you here. Consecutive broadcasts. Again, obviously nice to get you back into the groove of things. And yeah, we are in the home stretch here, the final week of the regular season. It's tough to believe that we're here already. But like you said, some very important matchups today, really throughout the standings as we continue to see how, the pieces are going to fall into place.
And we want to get started by taking a look at the games that we've got going on today, not just what we will be broadcasting for you, but all of the games around the ECL Elite. And you can see right near somewhere in the middle of your screen there is basically the games that we're going to be covering for you as part of this broadcast, including that 8 versus 9 matchup that we're going to be getting started with, Tugi.
Absolutely. So again, that is one, Kova Esports and Northern Ascendancy. But you see there in the matchups as well, big games for some playoff teams, Roots Gaming and H-Reds. You have Philadelphia and Färjestad as well. And towards the bottom half of the standings as well, a big matchup between YMCA Esports and Team Leisure. And unfortunately for Dark Horse right now, who entered today dead last, they have to take on our number one team in Havu Gaming. So like I said, you have some very interesting battles today between playoff teams, teams on the fringe, and of course teams that are looking to avoid that dead last finish, the automatic relegation spot. Of course, the other teams from there, 12 to 15, 13 to 15, will still have to battle it out as well, along with the champion from our second tier in the pro division. So a lot to play for today and throughout the week.
Let's take a look at the standings so you can see which of those teams are battling for playoff spots, who is basically a lock already, and which teams are battling to see if they can avoid a relegation to the level beneath. And you can see there the playoff on the left half, non-playoff on the right half, but a close competition when you're looking at those last 2-3 playoff spots for a few teams, actually, that are currently in that 9 through 11 range in the standings.
Absolutely. I mean, again, it's a 30-game regular season that we'll see finished up throughout this week. And really, like you mentioned, it starts kind of at Vesa Pompa on that 30-point mark where they are still not completely safe. If you slip up, there is time for other teams to catch you. I mean, Kova Esports looking a little bit more likely than Gotham Knights in the 10th spot because of the 2 extra games at hand. But you see sneakily quiet there, SJ Gaming, 8 games left at this stage, so they could still make a late push here if things go their way. But yeah, certainly from Färjestad in the 5 spot and up, we pretty much know who's going to make it out of that group. It's just a matter of seeding from there.
SJ Gaming, of course, will have their eye on all of the games that we've got for you today, because we're going to be featuring the 9 playing the 8, as well as Vesa Pompa, as you just mentioned, taking on the 15 seed Conquer Gaming. That one coming up in a little bit, but we want to begin with our first featured game. That is Kova versus Northern Ascendancy. It is 9 versus 8, and this is going to be an interesting matchup.
Absolutely. I mean, again, you talk about 2 teams that are right there, as we saw, the 8 and 9 on the fringe of the playoffs, the offense and defense, both incredibly close. Matter of fact, Northern Ascendancy, again, just the 1 extra goal. They're currently in 9th for offense. Of course, Kova in 10th, and then again, just the 1 spot, the 1 goal to differentiate them from there. There is a big advantage on the special teams for Kova, which we'll get into throughout this breakdown here, leading in to our first game of the day. But absolutely, I mean, you're looking at 2 teams that it is razor-thin margins separating some of these teams right now, and perhaps no better matchup that personifies that than the 8 and the 9, with 1 team on the outside looking in as it stands.
And those special teams things, as you mentioned, we will be getting into, because we do believe that those will play a factor in our first doubleheader of the day. But we want to begin by taking a look at the lineups for both of these teams, who they will be fielding as they go head-to-head. Kova trying to work their way towards or into that 8th spot at the end of today, and this is how they will be lined up against Northern Ascendancy.
It's a strong lineup for both teams. For Kova, you have the captain in Zip player Honelli, one of the best names in this league, if I do dare say so myself. And of course, Veluxits on the right-hand side as well. Defensively, 2 players we're going to be talking about a lot today in Fakiri and Sock'em and Monkeyhead, of course, between the pipes. On the other side for Northern Ascendancy, Dillinger, the captain of the team in Martindale, and Joigelson. Tunkelia Totali on defense, Supreeks between the pipes for them. And heading into this matchup, I mean, it's been interesting for Kova. It was a rough week last week, taking home just 1 point in 4 losses, being swept by Roots and Havu, which sees them knocked out of the playoffs. And that was probably the worst time. I mean, it was a very tough schedule. You have Roots, who are a playoff team, and Havu right now top of the standings. A very tough matchup for Kova last week. So a lot of pressure on them. The good thing is Northern Ascendancy didn't do much better, just taking home 2 points, 1 win with 3 losses. They were on a 4-game winning streak. They've now lost 4 out of 5. So both of these teams right now playing with fire and struggling in form heading into this final week.
So let's see how these teams stack up head-to-head. And I always give you the option. I know it's preset, but I like to give you the option as far as what position we like to start with for our head-to-head comparisons.
Let's start off with the centers, of course, to keep it easy for our producer behind the scenes. Don't want to throw him any curveballs in the last week of the season, but we do start off with Honelli, and again, the captain of this Northern Ascendancy lineup. It is Martindale, and for Kova at this point, Honelli's been a pretty decent surprise this season. You look at someone who is tied for top 6 in terms of assists with 30 on the season. Not the most physical player in the world, but still a solid 2-way effort as well. 52.5% on the draws, which is a very key number here. You look at Martindale on the other side again, a very impressive 34 points in 24 games as well. I think the key for them, he leads the team in takeaways. So look for him to be that really solid presence on either side of the ice.
And Honelli, you mentioned, not the most physical player, but when his teammates are his team as a whole combines for the most hits in the ECL Elite. If he wants to take it a little bit easy, I'm sure that ends up working out just fine. So let's take a look at the wings, the guys that will be on either side of these centers. And I mean, a lot of numbers jumping out. They're basically all in that same 35 to 42 point range. What jumps out at you when you're looking at the winger matchup?
It's got to be the shot accuracy numbers right now for Kova. Zip player at 39.5% for his shooting percentage. Veluxit that much better at nearly 43%, 42.9 to be exact. Zip player as well, a clutch player, a lot of game-winning goals on the season, as well as doing pretty much everything for this team. And again, Veluxit as well, leading his team in shots. So no real surprise, of course, to see that he is leading in goals as well. On the flip side, for Northern Ascendancy, you have Dillinger, 23 assists. Pretty solid, of course. Just to escape there again. We talked about it before the broadcast, the pronunciations here, so now I'm getting caught up. But we have Joigelson on the flip side, 42 points this season, outside of the top 10, but still a respectable number. I think the key here, top 4 in hits amongst forwards as well. And we talked about the shooting percentages, 44.2%, scoring about as close as you can get to having a 50% shooting percentage. So, you look for him to take a decent amount of shots, but he is someone who looks for the high quality chances more often than not.
The first line of defense and trying to slow down these forwards will, of course, be the defensemen. So we'll take a look at that matchup right now. And I mentioned already, Kova, 519 hits this season, most in the ECL Elite. So a physical brand of esports hockey that these guys play.
A legendary brand of physical defense. You look at Fakiri, 177 hits on the season, is first in the ECL Elite Division this season. But a thing to note as well, he is the all-time leader in hits in the history of the ECL. Again, a legendary pairing here with Sock'em. Again, 133 hits on the season. That's good for 3rd in the league. He's 3rd all-time for hits in the ECL. So you have two of the most physically dangerous players that we have ever seen in the ECL on the same defense pairing. Ever so dangerous. And of course, they've been able to put up points this season as well, which is that much more impressive. On the flip side, not quite the same brand of physical hockey, I would say. Two guys who are more on the defensive side, rely on the stick checking and I'd say positioning more than just trying to wipe their opponents off the map. Totally, though, as well, a thing to note, 6 goals on the season after coming over from Vesa Pompa last season. That is his highest total since the ECL Season 3, where he had 8 goals and 51 points. I actually tried to contact him before this stream to ask. And actually, fun fact, he just got back to me. He has always played defense. So the thing to note for him, of course, closing in, he could very well tie his all-time best in goals. So a big step up for him. And honestly, a good kind of, I don't want to say career resurgence, but the offensive side, certainly, with him becoming more of a goal-scoring threat.
Let's take a look at the men between the pipes for this game, the goaltender matchup. And when you take a look at this, you're looking at the same percentage of the goals against average. The goals against average, pretty much identical. I mean, you're talking about a 2-3-3 on the Northern Ascendancy side and a 2-3-8 on the Kova side. So they round up or down, respectively, but pretty much identical in that category.
Absolutely. And I mean, Monkey had somebody who we'll talk about a little bit more in a bit. Strong goaltender, fairly consistent goaltender. I think is capable of a little bit more than what we have seen this season. But like you said, you do like to see those lower goals against averages for these two teams. Fun fact, they line up with exactly where they are in the standings. Northern Ascendancy in 8th and Kova in 9th. But Saprix on the other side, top 4 in save percentage this season. He has a league leading 240 saves on the season, so he does see quite a few shots against. But again, you talk about players on both sides of the floor here in terms of guys who are well established in the ECL. Saprix is second all time in goalie wins and third in shutouts. Granted, he doesn't have a shutout this season, so hey, maybe he would have gotten that much closer. Although I think Kape of Philadelphia would have something to say about that. But you look at this, and these are two incredibly talented goaltenders who can steal their team's games, and that's what they need, of course, right now, being, again, like we said, on the fringe of being in the playoffs.
Yeah, and I mean, when you're talking about the goaltender, Saprix, the 240 saves leading the league, 296 shots faced. He's faced about, if my mental math is correct, about 13 shots per game. So when you have shooting percentages like we've seen for Kova's forwards, seeing a goalie or defense giving up nearly 5 shots a period, that has to have your mouth watering just a bit.
Oh, I completely agree. It's a very interesting matchup for a lot of reasons, and definitely the differences in the shooting stats, I'd say, key amongst them.
So let's break things down just one more time as we get ready for puck drop. We are approaching puck drop very soon. When you're breaking things down for this, Tuki, what do you see? What are you looking at? So
we have, of course, our 3 keys to success. We'll kick things off with Kova. And as we talked about, it's the physicality. So be aggressive. Be aggressive. Maybe not too aggressive, though. Again, we talked about it. Over 500 hits on the season as a team. Nearly 100 more than the team in second. That's Roots. And, of course, hits might not be... It's a fine line, right? It's a dangerous side to the game because you might end up taking penalties, as this team has. They have the most penalties in the league, a combined 101 penalty minutes on the season. So the physical brand of hockey, it is, I wouldn't say uniquely their style, but definitely they are the team you think of when it comes to the physical brand of hockey, but it can get them into a little bit of trouble. But to our second point, the special teams edge, second most efficient power play on the season, which is a little bit surprising, 11 out of 28, but even more so surprising here is the penalty kill. They have the 4th best PK on the season. They've had plenty of practice, though, as you can tell. But it is worth noting as well, with that second best power play, they're going up against one of the worst PKs in the league. So we'll see if Northern Ascendancy can stay out of the box. But our final point here for Kova, it's going bananas. A somewhat frustrating season for Monkeyhead. Not to get ahead of myself there. Still has solid numbers like we talked about, but if he had numbers closer to what he had last year, Kova would likely be entering this matchup as that 8th seed rather than the 9th seed. So it's not too late to get those numbers back up to where they were, but it's a very important matchup for them today.
No better time than the present for him to try to turn that around a little bit and get back on track, because going up against the 8th seed Northern Ascendancy, what do they have to do to pick up at least maybe 3 points in this matchup here?
So the pun doesn't quite work, as we have discovered, but we're going with Wee Ugelson. As much as that doesn't work. But again, Ugelson leads this team in goals, points, game-winning goals, hits. He's tied for the team lead in assists. He has that deadly shot accuracy. It's the biggest week of the season for him to deliver and keep Northern Ascendancy in a playoff spot, so look out for him. And then again, we've already talked about Totali as well. Went with the word tubular. I figured you'd appreciate it, but Totali tubular.
Yeah.
6 goals as a defenseman. Again, makes him a threat for Kova, like we talked about. The most goals he's had since Season 3, as I talked about it with Totali. A different league structure at that point back in the day, so it might have been a little bit easier to get some goals. Just goes to show how good he's been this season. And then, of course, our final point. Supreme Sapreeks, as we've talked about, the save lead. And again, facing the amount of shots, that 4th best save percentage, one of the better goalies in the history of this league. Same pressure on him like we see with Monkey Head. Get the job done and get your team into the playoffs.
If I had realized we were going to go with a Totali tubular, I probably would have dressed more for like a early 90s kind of thing, little
bright colors.
Ninja Turtles shirt or something. I don't know. I don't know why that's the first thing that jumps to mind, but basically skateboarding and Ninja Turtles is
and the
totally
brightest neon frames on a pair of sunglasses. I don't know why
you should see. I mean, I could have busted out my hockey jersey that my men's league team, we were in neon green. Well, the team I used to play with was neon green, so I had that whole like under uniform set that's all neon green. I would have busted that out. That would have been great. Just for this segment, that would have looked ridiculous.
So Kenu, be prepared. Next season, season 12, we're doing an 80s night. You can decide the week, but we're going with themed broadcasts next season. It's got. I am
totally on board. I've got like a wig that's like an 80s like hair metal wig. I've got the weird sunglasses, the giant frames and everything. I mean, that might be an encroachment on a different streamer and his style if I do giant mullet wig and huge 80s sunglasses, but
maybe, but who's to say? They say, if you can do it better, then is it really imitation, or you might just be bringing it to the next level. So
if I just dress like Jaromir Jagr in his early days with Pittsburgh, that's basically what I'm looking at with that. So, that's the style for me, but especially with hockey. But we're about 30 seconds away from getting things underway here. So, Tugi, I'm actually going to slide over here so I'm better in the shot. There we go. So when you're looking at this, we're going into game 1. It's a doubleheader. The points obviously crucial for both of these teams. For Kova, who really could use at least picking up 2 points on their opposition, on Northern Ascendancy in the standings in this doubleheader, what are you trying to do early on in game 1 to set that tone?
I mean, again, the physicality for Kova and just staying out of the box in the process is the key here, no doubt about it. And you see it there with the player types as well. I mean, Kova running a grinder on defense, which isn't totally unheard of, but a more physical build there. You see a two-way, you see a playmaker, a lot more of a differential in terms of the builds that we see, where as opposed to Northern Ascendancy, it was pretty straightforward. Again, that puck-moving defenseman, they're looking for that speed, the puck control, the defense-first style. So, I mean, I think it's down to, out of the two styles that these teams play, who's going to be able to establish that control and make that work. And then for the team that can't get that done and can't, really kind of set the tone, can they make the adjustments necessary to really get things going for them? Again, for Kova right now, though, on both of these teams, again, just a few points picked up last week. A lot of pressure here.
All right, so Kova going up on your screen. They are in white. Northern Ascendancy going down on your screen. They are in the navy blue, and we are underway. Game 1 of our doubleheader of doubleheaders, as we have an offside just about immediately to get things going. So basically, almost a false start, and now a restart to the game here, 40 seconds in. Faceoff tied up, and the faceoff will be picked up, or the puck rather will be picked up by Zip player, but he lost it as the puck comes all the way back into the Kova end, where it's restarted by Sakam. He gets it back in a little give and go, and now trying to get it back to him was the winger Veliset. Velikset, excuse me. I'll probably pronounce that 7 different ways during this game. Those X's always, it usually marks the spot for a name I'm going to mispronounce.
I mean, it's tough. It's a very tough league. No matter how many reps you get in. Again, I've been doing this for 3 seasons now or so. No matter how many reps you get in, there are some days where it's just not quite going to gel with you perfectly. I think you overthink it, and then you just end up kind of. I'd say it's kind of that middle school moment where it's just like, I screwed up. I hope nobody noticed.
I just like to point it out, own it, and move on. But here we have our first power play of this doubleheader, and it's going to belong to Northern Ascendancy. So the team that takes the most penalties in the ECL Elite takes their first penalty of the game, just about 3.5 minutes in. But they managed to ice the puck off of the faceoff.
Good chance for Northern Ascendancy here to get things going, though. 9th best power play, 5 of 23 on the season. Great way to set the tone here, like we were talking about.
Moving the puck around in the offensive end, spinning it back, D-to-D pass, trying to get it in deep, but a great position by Zip player. That leads to the puck being set all the way down, and we are over halfway done with the power play chance for Northern Ascendancy as they, again, move on up.
Like to see the shot there from Tunkeli. A huge hit there. Maybe a chance short-handed here for Kova.
Kiri moving in, tried to center it, spun it down, and a quick little wrister on goal by Velikset. Gets the shot as we go back to 5-on-5, 6v6 hockey. Not only killing off the penalty was Kova's, a save made there by Monkeyhead, but a shot on goal right at the closing moments. Here comes a rush. Kova back at even strength, centering. Oh, the pass just off the mark. Zip player was looking for Velikset.
And I like that shot on the power play there from Tunkeli. And Northern Ascendancy's defenseman, not known for shooting the puck. We've seen it. It's a key to success for the top teams, getting the defenseman involved. But overall, a good kill there for Kova.
I'm noticing Zip player uses a very lightly colored stick. I thought his player was without a stick for a moment, then he suddenly picked it up, and I'm realizing he's just using the like the old Titan Wayne Gretzky stick color, where it's just a very light beige, just blending into the ice.
I think actually Zip player is without a stick right now. No, you're right. It is there. That is an incredibly bizarre visual experience that I've yet to see in a game. It really does look like he just outright doesn't have a stick.
You can only see it when you notice the tape on the blade of the stick, because the tape is white, and when you see it move, the toe is not taped. And that is the only way I've been able to actually see it. It reminds me, I saw a picture online just the other day, as we're under 8 minutes to go here in the first, of a soccer match played in the blinding snow where one of the teams wore all white head to toe. It was the most unfair game of Where's Waldo I've ever seen.
Well, you know, they just make them differently in Russia. That's my guess for where the game was played, because I feel like most people, if it's that blinding, you probably maybe postpone the game, but especially with the kid situations. Weird setup. Great
They
stories.
broke out the orange football or soccer ball for the match, but one of the teams was just like, nah, white socks, white shoes, white jersey, white shorts.
So they knew it was going to snow because they compared the ball. That's tremendous.
I don't know the result of that game, but I would love to know the score if anybody has that. Long shot taken, that one right into the glove of Suprix. He'll hang on for a whistle. 4:53 to go in the first period. No score, but Kova threatening in the offensive end. Ooh, an aggressive lineup here for this positioning on the faceoff.
And that first goal, very important, but Martindale, good defensive zone win.
I still can't get over. I keep looking to see Zip players' hockey stick. It just like seems to show up frame by frame, like whether or not it's going to be visible. Long clear, that long pass intercepted by Fakiri. And now cross-ice backhand dump into the corner. Trying to chase it down was Velikset. Could not get there first.
And you like to see the dump and chase. It's something we don't see that often in the European game. Nearly worked out there.
Velikset in the offensive end. Gives it back to the defenseman. D-to-D pass. Centers back, and that shot was blocked in traffic. Great puck movement between Fakiri and Sakam, but could not get the shot on goals. We're now nearing the final minute of period number 1. Still no score, but some chances for Kova. We'll see what Northern Ascendancy can do here as they're taking a...
We had a player drop on the flip side there for Northern Ascendancy, so there will be a restart here, unfortunately. Again, we'll get the official word on how they're going to handle that, just because again, we were so close to the end of that first period. Unfortunate turn of events here. Hasn't happened all that often. But again, something that you just never know when there's going to be a random disconnect, whether or not it happens to be from the server side, or of course, who knows, maybe someone had a blip in the internet connection. You never quite know, but obviously we will get things restarted, I would imagine. And again, I will very much be corrected if I'm wrong. But I imagine, of course, we'll just continue things from the second period. It was interesting there, too, because I was wondering what was going on, because Martindale had Joigelson freed up there completely and just didn't pass and just took it down the ice himself. So I was wondering what happened there. Maybe if Martindale either just didn't see him or was just spamming the right trigger there, R2 on PlayStation, to just get that pass off and just couldn't. But regardless, we end up with this restart here. And like I said, if it does restart, we'll technically be in the second period. It could play a big factor down the stretch, because the third period would technically be the second, which means that final minute of gameplay would be fast, which if there's a team that's trailing at that stage, that's a big, big difference maker to not have that slow final minute.
Yeah, you basically lose about 45 seconds of the third period, give or take, because the final 10 seconds is always in real time, but you lose that 60 seconds down to 10, where it would end up in the normal speed. So that's about 40 seconds that you lose out of all of that. I was watching, I was trying to figure out what was happening. I was like thinking like the movie Little Giants, where it just looked like they were just like, okay, everybody's following this player, but why is nobody moving? I was like, okay, is this the Statue of Liberty play? Just like, and what do they call it? The annexation of Puerto Rico was another one of the.
That was the one. So from now on, Martindale, I don't care if you don't get the reference. You are now officially known as Icebox. Congratulations. We turn negatives into positives here within the ECL and NHL gamer. And, again, a disconnect is one of the most unfortunate things you can have. Really slows down the action. And, you don't get to see, of course, the stat line as well for what that first period is going to be. So hopefully, again, we have those stats recorded, all things considered. But, again, an unfortunate restart. But, hey, negatives into positives. Martindale has a new nickname. Hopefully, we potentially see a name change next season. Obviously, I know he just goes off of his last name for what he's known by. But, hey, it's never too late to adopt a new nickname.
Yeah, there you go. I mean, the Martindale, the Icebox. I mean, that's I forget what the last name was. I remember O'Shea was the last name in there, but I think that's the other. I think that's Ed O'Neill. Was something.
I can't remember. I haven't seen Little Giants in years, but it's now on the list.
Apparently, it was that memorable of a movie to have seen it like only in the 90s and still remember and be able to reference it.
20 years later, it still sticks with you.
Yeah. Well, I just remember Ed O'Neill driving a Corvette. Like that was all. That's because I was really into cars. That one I vividly remember was driving that 90s Corvette.
Did you think upon a restart here and a disconnect that we'd be talking about a movie that is about as old as I am? A 1994 release for Little Giants.
94.
Rick
Moranis. The end of the Married with Children run for Ed O'Neill, where he was kind of cashing in on that Al Bundy fame.
One of the best shows of all time, and my favorite fun fact about Ed O'Neill is his Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu accolades. He is a black belt. Al Bundy.
Really?
Al Bundy could take you. 74 years old. You still don't mess with that O'Neill.
I had no idea that was true. that I look at that show entirely differently now. That basically it's Al Bundy, like he's using these insults so that he doesn't just wipe the floor with any annoying customer in his shoe store.
There is nothing better upon a disconnect than two Americans talking about very American things to an audience primarily made up of Swedes and Finns. Happy Monday, everybody.
This is what happens when we can't get our Wilhelm over here, is that we have to, it's kind of like the European Snickers, where it's like, you're not yourself when you're hungry. So have
some Wilhelm. Feel better? No, my throat's on fire because they're flaming hot snacks, as we all know.
I still really just want to try it, but let's take a quick look at some ads here for Wilhelm. Make us a little bit hungry, and then we're going to get back into the action here. Game 1 between Kova and Northern Ascendancy.
Parasta purtavaa kauden kovimpiin koitoksiin. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana. Wilhelm Snacksit.
I love the music that we have for that the wallpaper bumper.
It's incredible, isn't it?
Fantastic. We have now learned what Kova and Northern Ascendancy are going to do. So rather than skip ahead basically and count the first period as the second period, the second as the third, they're going to just work the clock down until there's 2 minutes left or so in the first period, draw a face-off, and then we will resume play when that happens. So basically, the clock will be correct. The score was 0-0. The only thing that we'll have to keep in mind was that there were a few shots on both sides in the first period, and that Northern Ascendancy went over 1 on the power play prior to that disconnect. But we basically will be resuming play, and everything that you'll be able to see on your screen for the entire broadcast of the continuation and conclusion of the game will be accurate, except for shots on goal totals and power play penalty kill numbers.
Which means everything that we talked about in relation to the time is now completely null and void. So we don't have to worry about that. That's not a factor, which I will say is probably for the best. I do like the way this is being handled, just to try and get everything to a bit of a level playing field.
Yeah, so we talked about the time, which you can ignore that. We talked about Ed O'Neill's career, which you could probably ignore that. So basically, it was just all for fun, and we hope that it was entertaining for you while we talked about things that will not have a relation to the game moving forward. But one thing that will is looking at some of the stats for these players and these teams in this entire league for the whole season. So we want to take a look at some top 10, some stats going forward. So Tugi, why don't you take us through what we're going to see here?
Yeah, so let's go ahead and take a look at our top 10 skaters up to this point in the season. And again, no real surprise to see the majority of the names, of course, that we have here. Of course, a lot of Havu, a lot of Philadelphia, a lot of H-Reds, and Philippa Toflin up there as well for Roots, which is pretty solid. But again, you talk about a lot of these players here. I think the one that has to stand out is Hanselinho, one of our top goaltenders of the past few seasons. He steps up this season, decides, I'm going to play out, and it really makes you wonder just, well, why hadn't they done that before? And of course, a big part of that was Havu's ability to lock down the services of Sibelius, one of the better goaltenders in the league, as well as he came over last year from Jyväskylä, who, again, we talked about on Wednesday in our last broadcast. You know, Jyväskylä, a team stole the number 1 seed last year, kind of fell apart in the playoffs. Again, I'm sure they still hate me talking about that, but at the end of the day, it was one of the more historic turn of events that we've ever seen in the ECL. But up and down this top 10, you see players here that are all over the scoreboard here for like top 10 all time. Benito has jumped Flyer Kungen as the all-time leading scorer in this league. They're separated by just 6 points, by the way, up there in the scoring. So, I mean, you talk about some of the best long-term throughout the history of the elite division, and these are the guys at the top of it. And, of course, as well, should point out Playmaker there with 24 in 24 in terms of goal scoring. You know, he's kind of slowed down that pace last year. You know, we talked about it a lot. Just an incredible point total from him with 58 goals in 30 games. So I don't know if it's just the addition of Hanselinho, if we're seeing the offense spread out a lot more, but Playmaker as well, the all-time leading scorer in the ECL. Like I said, it's no real surprise that you look at the top 10 and you see the players who have gotten the job done season after season, the well-established players in this league.
All right, so Kova, Northern Ascendancy, we have that doubleheader. Game 1 underway. We've already seen the first 18 minutes, and now it appears that these teams are basically, they're working the clock back down, as we mentioned, to make sure that they're getting back to that 2-minute mark. And here we are as the puck sent out of play. So we will have a face-off in neutral ice with 1:55 to go, and we will pick things back up. The score remains 0-0. Shots on goal, probably about 3-3, give or take. And the power play 0-for-1 for Northern Ascendancy prior to the disconnect. And now back under play again. Kova in white moving up on your screen. Northern Ascendancy in navy coming down on your screen, and they have possession here. Nice little dangles by Eagleson trying to move in, just forces the puck on goal. Monkeyhead in good position to turn it aside. Final 15 seconds, real-time 10. Nice little dangle, getting in. Cross-ice pass on the one-timer, and with 7.5 seconds left, the goal put in. Oh, Nelly, what a goal.
I knew you'd take advantage of that call opportunity. I know I did the first time I got to call a Kova game this season. Like I said, one of the better names in the league for the sake of commentary. A really unfortunate turn of events there for Northern Ascendancy. Just got caught with the speed down that left-hand side. Zip player able to find Hanelli, who again, the lowest goal total amongst the three forwards, but it's not for a lack of ability. He gets that goal. Huge goal for Kova's sake in this season. Again, entering play today, trailing Northern Ascendancy by 4 points. They pull off the double today and do it in regulation. They have a real good shot in their final few games to pull off this comeback and get this playoff spot.
Totali having to defend a rush in the final 7 seconds there as well, so doing a good job there, making sure it's just 1-0 going into the locker room. A great pass by Zip player to set up that goal. It will be the only shot that we will see registered, I believe, for Kova in the resumption of that period. Do we know if we have these shots on goal stats for the first game, or are we just going to assume it's about 3 aside?
Not sure if we have them. Not sure if we have the numbers here. At least at the moment, we will likely have them for the end of the game up on the NHL Gamer site at the very least. But for the moment, I don't know if we have any way to get those. But 1 shot apiece in that restart. Kova making the most of it.
Yep, so even on that end, you could see, shooting percentage, we talked a lot about that going in. Honelli was not on that list, but hey, 100% shooting percentage for Kova so far since the resumption of play in the final 2 minutes. And boy, that pass was just gorgeous. Little tape to backhand tape.
Yeah, and I mean, you see there too, the left bumper, the L1 attempt from Tunkelia just to try and get a stick down and break it up in the lane. I think he knew he was caught. He didn't have the speed, the positioning to be able to just intercept that one clean. So really an all or nothing moment there. Like I said, a real big goal for Kova Esports to get that momentum in their favor, especially after that restart.
See what happens here in the second. Quick shot taken by Northern Ascendancy and swallowed up by Monkeyhead just over a minute into this second period. So Northern Ascendancy just trying to get those shots on goal here and try to even things up early on in the second. They'll have a face-off to Monkeyhead's right. Tie up off the draw. The puck comes back towards the point, held in by Totali. Nice little spin move and gets it in deep. Is down low, trying to center that puck was Eagleson, but could not connect on the pass. Long shot blocked away. Honelli getting in the shooting lane and deflected it harmlessly to the corner.
See what the Kova response here is from those, that early bit of offense there from Northern Ascendancy. We keep seeing them, though, being willing to dump the puck in and try to force the mistakes from Northern Ascendancy on their breakout.
Bank pass by Northern Ascendancy up ahead, but it is scooped up by Fakiri. Started on out. This is Velikset. But he turned it over in the high slot area, so well defended by Northern Ascendancy, but they can't clear the zone. Puck battle along the boards. It's won by Northern Ascendancy and sent on ahead. Eagleson in the center of the slot area could not get the shot away. I believe that was Sockham getting in the way and scooping it up and stealing it away. Now on the offensive end is Kova. Down low, that shot blocked in traffic. Fakiri tried to get that one through, may have been looking for a rebound. It remains in the offensive end for Kova. Down low, behind the net, a couple passes. Good job with the intercept. Martindale, the center, getting down low and scooping it up, and that starts this play on the other way. But 3 defenders for Kova in the right down in the slot. Managed to take it away. Cross-ice pass attempt by Velikset. Could not connect. That one would have been pretty if it had been tape to tape, but right intercepted by Northern Ascendancy. They're not falling for that one twice.
A much better read from Tunkelia defensively as well. Not getting caught. Got established early on. Again, we talked about not the most physical defense pairing for Northern Ascendancy, so you really don't expect them to get caught out of position.
Midway mark of this second period and of this contest. Northern Ascendancy trying to center. That quick shot blocker side. Save made by Monkeyhead, and the puck comes all the way back to center. Staying on side is Northern Ascendancy in the corner. Try to spin it back. Quick shot again. Blocker save made. They keep trying to sneak that puck in between the blocker, the shoulder, and the post. But here's a breakaway the other way. Kova taken down, and a penalty shot is coming up for Velikset.
The leading goal scorer for Kova Esports. We talked about it. Northern Ascendancy maybe trying to get that defense involved. They're getting caught it happened again. Huge opportunity for Kova to double up the lead.
Big test. Balakset versus Suprix. Going slow. Hesitation. Backhand and still scores. Suprix was not going to commit to any of the moves. Did not seem to get faked out, but Balakset founds a gap between the glove and the post and makes it 2-0.
I don't know how he found space there. I thought it went 5-hole at first. Tough break for Suprix. Played it pretty well, but Balakset able to get a crucial goal. Things are looking very good for Kova right now.
Northern Ascendancy trying to maintain possession of the offense. Been huge hit. Just absolute separation from the puck after Sock'em was playing a little Rock'em Sock'em Robots. I don't know if that's just another American reference, but it really fits.
I feel like everybody has to know Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
I don't know if it has a different name maybe, but yeah, Rock'em Sock'em Robots. Just basically that's what that was, because you saw
it probably sounds cooler with a Finnish or Swedish kind of accent to it.
We'll have to do some research and see if we can find some Finnish Rock'em Sock'em Robots. But
well, I'm on it. I can do these things now during these breaks and play when I'm not doing the play-by-play. It's great.
Neutralized face-off won by Kova, but they can't really retain possession of the puck. And here comes Northern Ascendancy. Great poke check. Forces the play back to center ice. 3.5 to play in the second period as it's dumped in by Balakset. Now in the corner. Centering feed on that one-timer again. Honelli was looking across, but could not connect on that pass. That's how they scored their first goal late in the first. And with just over 2 minutes to play, here comes a chance for Northern Ascendancy, but saying no is Honelli. Really good defense there, just taking the puck away. A huge shoulder check delivered by Eagleson, knocking Honelli down to the ice.
You know, and it's funny, we talk about the defense pairings there as well. The very aggressive defense of Kova Esports, really reminiscent of the Blue Bomber and the Red Rocker of the Rock'em Sock'em Robots.
Final 3 seconds here of the period. Will we see a shot on goal to close it out? We will not. 2-0 is your score after 2 periods of play. I'll play the period. It's going to be some hits. I mean, the penalty shot goal was great, but let's check out some Rock'em Sock'em Robots action.
The gigantic hit there. In fairness, to update on that, the only alternative name I could find was from the UK in the 1970s, where Rock'em Sock'em Robots became raving bonkers, with the Blue Bomber becoming the Bash Bonker, or the Basher Bonker, and the Red Rocker becoming the Biffer Bonker, which is going to be my new tagline. I think I'm going to retire Toogie to become the Biffer Bonker. Oh, boy. Anyway, to get back on track, I suppose we should actually talk about the action for once. Ed O'Neill, Rock'em Sock'em Robots, it's been a great day. Yeah, see, Profane Kiss knows. Profane Kiss knows. So the reach is there towards the German side of everything. But, again, for Kova Esports, you get that huge goal at the end of the first period, another goal in the second. Of course, only 2 registered shots to this point since the restart. We don't know what the numbers were prior to that restart. But all things considered for Kova right now, things are looking great, and the pressure is really on Northern Ascendancy. And actually, we do have the updated stats here. Kova had 2 shots before the restart, so 4 shots total, 2 goals. Northern Ascendancy with 2 shots as well in that restart. It was a very close first period, but since that disconnect and that restart, Kova Esports has really taken advantage.
I was very close. I guessed about 3 for each of them prior to that disconnect, and 2 is close. I would have gone over on the Price is Right. So would not have won the showcase or got called up on the stage by Drew Carey or Bob Barker. But we're underway here in the third period. Long pass up, just offside. Zip player zipping a little bit too far before he had the puck. So that is offside, and the faceoff comes back into neutral ice still, but on the Kova half of the rink.
Well, now's the time where I get to look up Price is Right versions from across the world, the international versions of the Price is Right. There is an entire section on the Wikipedia page dedicated to their international versions.
Wow.
Finland has not had the Price is Right since 2000, and Sweden as well. Apparently never had it, so we are really not playing to our audience here, are we?
I mean, wow. So It's amazing that the Price is Right could have actually stopped. I mean, Bob Barker had been hosting it for like 20 years by 2000, and he went another like 8 years or 9 years beyond that. But yes, another. Basically, the goal I think is to have more references that are completely just this side of the pond than goals that we see, and I think we're currently on pace to be ahead of that.
I'm in my mid-20s and I'm making references like a 45-year-old man. It's a glorious day. I'm having a lot of fun, and that's what counts.
14 minutes and 10 seconds left here in the third period. 2-0 lead for Kova in this game. I'm in my early 30s, so they may be a bit more fitting, I guess, for me. I'm also not in my 40s, but I grew up watching Little Giants and Price is Right.
I did too, but hey, it is what it is.
Yeah. Big bucks, no whammies, stop. That's just a random pressure luck reference. We're good. 12 minutes to play here is just trying to find a good shooting lane is Kova. Quick centering feed, the rebound chance and getting across the crease to make the save was Supreeks. That was the first shot on goal that we have seen from Kova since the restart that resulted in a save by Supreeks, and he had to make two big ones.
I mean, yeah, it is a big stop for Supreeks there. Hopefully to get back into the mojo. He knows he needs to shut the door, and that was a great blocker save.
Another one off of a turnover in the defensive end by Northern Ascendancy, but now they're rushing with the puck. Centering feed, the backhander, and they score. The lead has been cut in half. The goal, the captain, Martindale, Icebox, picking up the marker.
You know it's a nice goal when our producer, who's new to the scene, even reacts to the goal. A wonderful pass there on the backhand from Dillinger. Tremendous patience on display there. And at that point, it's an incredibly tough spot for Monkeyhead because on the backhand, you don't know if that shot's coming from Dillinger. You need almost superhuman reaction time to react to that pass. Huge goal from Martindale. Northern Ascendancy back in it with still a half of this third period to play, 10 minutes left.
Offside warning against Kova, so they'll have to touch back up. They could not chase the puck down. Northern Ascendancy starting things up, could not cross the blue line cleanly, so they'll reset from neutral ice and try to move it on ahead. Back in the offensive end, centering feed, intercepted as Honelli was there with the read and the takeaway. 8.5 to play as it's dumped in. Great chase given by Zip Player. He'll get there first, hands it across, trying to find some space in the corner. Zip Player lost it off of the back of the net. May have been trying a centering feed, but lost the puck as he shot it off the back of the net. Northern Ascendancy trying to get it in deep in the offensive end. They do. It's in the slot, and a goal. We're tied.
A huge play there for Northern Ascendancy. It's Eagleson finding the back of the net, the leading goal scorer for this team. A tremendous passing display there once they recovered the puck. Quick passes. Sometimes it's better to be lucky than good. They get the puck to the danger area. It's knocked loose, and Eagleson was right there, right place, right time. And again, for Monkey, had two chances in a row for the opposition where you would have needed superhuman reaction time to come up with the save. He couldn't do it. You have two goals in 3.5 minutes, and that is a gigantic moment for Northern Ascendancy because, again, we talked about it with Kova heading into this matchup. Northern Ascendancy, the team directly ahead of you, the team in the 8th seed, they have 4 points on you. And if Kova just let the opportunity slip to walk away with 2 points, I don't know if they're going to get another opportunity to really make up the ground throughout the last few games here in the final week of our regular season. So like you saw there, the incidental contact breaks it up. Better to be lucky than good. Every goal counts. We'll see how Kova responds.
Quick little shot. That one hit the iron. A little backhander by Zip Player just trying to throw something on goal. Did technically beat the goaltender, but will not count as a shot. Puck forced to the corner in the Kova end, and they'll start things up with that looks set. Long play of the puck, staying in the zone momentarily, but it was cleared out anyway, picked up by Dillinger. That last goal, technically unassisted. Martindale and Dillinger each touched the puck leading up to that goal. There's a centering feed, the rebound, and it's tucked in with 4:14 to go. Just like that, the lead once again belongs to Kova.
Get the puck to the danger areas, and you never know what will happen. Veluxit is there. Leading goal scorer on this team. We see the main offensive threats going head-to-head here. Again, another kind of broken play off of the pass in front by Zip Player, had the charged up backhand, maybe not his intended target on the far side, but again, sometimes when you have two teams that are so evenly matched, it's going to come down to the lucky breaks. It's going to come down to proper positioning, and it was on display there from Kova. Let's see how Northern Ascendancy respond as things have really heated up here in this third period.
Fluxit, the penalty shot goal in the second period. Now the go-ahead goal here late in the third. Long backhand pass on ahead for Zip Player, trying to put some insurance on this one-goal lead, trying to get a little give and go without Veluxit.
We've seen Zip Player try to get those cutback passes a couple of times, and he's lost it off of the back of the net. That is clearly something they're trying to exploit.
Approaching that real-time final minute. Kova clears the zone, and we're under that 60-second mark. Here comes Zip Player in the offensive end, dropping it back. Veluxit, Zip Player, centering feed, intercepted by Martindale and cleared out of the zone. 48 seconds left in the offensive end as Northern Ascendancy down low, backhander on goal, save made, and it will be covered up for a whistle by Monkeyhead with 43 seconds to go.
Tremendous stop for the Kova goaltender. A risky pass on the other side for Northern Ascendancy. Thought they could have kept possession. They tried to get the goal, nearly came back to haunt them.
Tie up off the draw, and the defenseman scooping it up. Fakiri cleared out. 2-on-1 on the rush. Chance slowing down. One-time feed. Get the leg across with Supreeks. 30 seconds left. Here comes Northern Ascendancy in the offensive end, dumping it in deep. Chasing it down. Dillinger in the corner. Handed ahead. A couple passes. The puck loose right in front of the crease, but it was scooped up by Fakiri and played out. Now a breakaway. Zip Player to put it away. Backhander. Kick save made. Zip Player scoops it back up, 13 seconds in the corner. Held in the opposite corner now, just all beneath the goal line, trying to kill off some time here. Veluxit forced to the corner boards, 4 seconds left, and that will do it. Puck back to center ice. Kova picks up the win, 2 clean points, as they're now up to 27 points in the standings and just 2 behind Northern Ascendancy, with 1 head-to-head matchup left between these teams coming up in just a few moments. What a win. What a finish to that game.
A tremendous display there by Supreeks at the end of the game, doing everything he could to keep his team in it. Unfortunately, though, just too late for Northern Ascendancy, not able to get the offense on the flip side and really, make the most of that great effort from their goaltender. A huge sigh of relief from the Kova Esports side of things right now. You blow a 2-goal lead, but you do get the goal right back. It ends up being the winner. A fantastic game from Veluxit with those 2 goals. And like we said, both of these teams struggling heading into this matchup. Just 1 win between the 2 teams in their last 4 games. And thankfully, Kova right now able to snap a 4-game losing streak that saw them bounced from the top 8. And again, now the lead is down to just 2 points for Northern Ascendancy over Kova at this stage. This next game is huge. Amazing playoff implications here at stake, of course, as hopefully throughout this broadcast we'll be able to get you the update at what's going on elsewhere that really do play, those results really do play a part here. But both teams now in 25 games, just 5 games to go. And for Kova, if you're able to catch Northern Ascendancy here, those final 4 games will be incredible, and I'm going to try to get a look here at what the schedule is going to be upcoming for those 2 teams here down the back stretch of the season.
And that was an incredibly exciting way to close that one out. That was that game had pretty much everything. There's a restart. We had a penalty shot, which resulted in a goal. It was just a lot. There was references to 90s pop culture, 70s pop culture, 80s pop culture.
You never know what you're going to get on one of these broadcasts.
That's right. I was going to do the impression of what's the SNL character with this club has everything, just to get another 2000s reference in there, so we could hit every decade, the best of the 70s, 80s, 90s, and today. Brought to you here on the ECL Elite broadcast from NHL Gamer, presented to you by Wilhelm. We have everything. I know you like setting this up, so I'm gonna, give us your best intro for this, for a little bit of a Wilhelm plug here. What do you got?
I was trying to come up with a 60s reference, and the best I had was, of course, Kova at times just walking past the Northern Ascendancy defense like the Abbey Road cover was the best thing I could come up with, but I couldn't quite remember the date on when that particular album happened to come out. But that said, we'll be back after a quick little break here. More references that most of you don't get? Maybe, but again, you never know what's going to happen on an NHL Gamer broadcast. Stay tuned. We'll be right back after a word from our lovely sponsor. It is Wilhelm.
Wilhelmin ykköskentän pakkeina uudet tulokkaat. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
You could have gone with Walk Like an Egyptian, that song from the 60s. That would have worked also, other than Abbey Road. Walk This Way would have been a nice Aerosmith reference from, I think that would be 80s, technically.
Yes, I think so.
I was just trying to think if I could think of a third one. I like to usually do references in threes, but I only had two off the top of my head. So anyway, Tugi and Farbsy Drugolf are back with you here. We're one game down. We've got 3 to go. A full doubleheader coming up in just a bit between Conquer Gaming and Vesa Pompa. But we have game 2 of Kova and Northern Ascendancy coming up in this one. Now, because Kova picked up that win in game 1, huge postseason implications in this, because if Kova can pick up a 2-0 game here in game 2, they would be tied in the standings. Kova would have more wins than Northern Ascendancy and would obviously have swept the doubleheader season series between these two. So huge 2 points on the line here for Kova and for Northern Ascendancy as well.
Yeah, and I mean, right now for Kova, again, we talk about it, both of these two teams actually now on 25 points. And for Kova now, up to 27 points on the season. Again, you'll be on 29 if you're able to win this. From there, let's say they win this matchup. They take this series. They're on 29 points. Of course, the best you can get from there would be 8 points. The problem is, I don't think they're getting that full 8. They need this win. Wednesday, their next matchups, they play Dark Horse. Currently the bottom team in the league. Obviously, you would need to take all 4 points there. But the problem is they finish up their regular season on Thursday against Philadelphia. And that is a matchup that, look, I like Kova. And in theory, if you get this 8th seed, maybe even somehow up to 7th, you're going to play Philadelphia or Havu. And who knows, maybe you pull off the miracle. But with Philadelphia right now, and again, we talked about it last week on the broadcast, Philadelphia and Havu seem destined for another championship collision course. We'll see if they get there. But for Kova Esports right now, I mean, this really is it. You have, I would say, probably 4 points in the bank. No disrespect to Dark Horse, but you have, if you're Kova, you have no excuse to not get those 4 points over Dark Horse. You have a chance at 6 extra points on the season here. If you take this game from Northern Ascendancy, you need this win badly. And I will say, I do think they have the ability to do it, especially too, that last game, for the most part, they stayed out of the box. And I think that was a crucial point or a part to their success. They didn't take as many penalties as you'd perhaps expect them to take. So I think if they can just keep cool heads into this next matchup, take advantage of the opportunities that Northern Ascendancy is giving you, because I don't know what we're going to see from Northern Ascendancy in this next game, because you talk about what we saw in that game with the defense getting caught. And I think that was the team trying to get them more involved and really trying to go for the kill, knowing that if they take points away from Kova here, they are that much more likely to clinch a playoff spot. And obviously for them, you talk about the standings right now with Northern Ascendancy. They started today 1 point back of Vesa Pompa, who we're going to see in action a little bit later. And again, the 7-8 spots right now in the playoffs, it's a great thing to make it. It's one hell of an accomplishment because of the level of competition in this league. But the 7-8 spots are viewed as the death spots because it's Philadelphia and Havu if you make it. There's no easy matchup in the playoffs, but no doubt about it. If you can finish 3-6, in theory, you have a much more even matchup there because, again, it's just a 5-point difference right now between third place Yippee Vaskala and sixth place Vesa Pompa, whereas the difference between 2 and 3, Havu currently 11 points ahead of Yippee Vaskala in third with 2 games at hand. So we really see the difference in quality there, where Philadelphia and Havu still on paper are just so much further ahead than everybody else that this is, of course, as you'd expect, the biggest game of the season for Northern Ascendancy, especially for Kova at this stage. And for Northern Ascendancy as well here to finish up the season, Again, you have a matchup against the playoff team, but then a matchup against kind of a bottom feeder who's trying to stave off relegation. Wednesday, they play H-Reds, who currently sit in 5th, so a little bit more of a favorable matchup than having to play Philadelphia. But then they end their season on Thursday right here on this broadcast, twitch.tv/NHL Gamer. The broadcast will be in Finnish, but it will be Northern Ascendancy and Kova Esports, who currently find themselves actually up to 12th. They had a decent little resurgence here, so that is a team desperate right now to stay above the relegation playoff spots. Of course, dead last gets automatically relegated 13 to 15. You got to fight to survive here. We'll see what Kova can do. So in theory, I would say it's a little bit easier of a schedule for Northern Ascendancy at this point. If they take these points away from Kova here in this matchup, I can't help but think that's pretty much it for Kova, just based off of the point totals that Northern Ascendancy should be able to pick up. Probably a very similar point total, maybe an even more likely higher point total for Northern Ascendancy here this week. Again, just because they don't have to play Philadelphia.
And of course, there are other teams chasing too in the 10 and 11 spot in the standings, trying to chase down Kova as well. So if you don't get out of today with 4 points, I mean, at least 3 if you're Kova. You don't want to give any points to Northern Ascendancy. It makes it that much harder to catch them. But you've got to get every point that you can as we take a look. The teams locating each other, getting ready to go. I like that. That's the Tampa Bay Lightning's alternate jersey style with the faded sleeve color from blue to red. So interesting. I always like being able to take a look at that. We're looking at Northern Ascendancy. Looks like they're busting out like a Hartford Whalers type jersey with that color scheme there and the striping.
So the interesting thing for me here with NA, they have 1 two-way forward. The rest are puck movers. So obviously defense first. Again, puck possession. Interesting on the flip side there, though, for Kova at this stage. Again, I believe I saw a playmaker in the mix. I think the last game we saw a two-way, but this time out we have a dangler, which is a build you don't necessarily see all that often. I think just because of the benefits of the puck-moving defenseman and what that build can do. Pretty similar in terms of the speed and the puck control, the deking attributes as well. But of course, it has that little bit of extra on defense. So with the Dangler build in the lineup, I think a build that we often don't see in 6s, that's kind of more reserved for 3-on-3 because of all the extra open space. It's going to be interesting to see if that works. That is Zip player working with it. And of course, he had a great game in the last game. Again, I might be wrong. He might have used it in the last one. And if he did, don't blame him for going back to it. Again, he had a really strong game.
2 assists for Zip player in that last contest, and we are underway here in Game 2 of this doubleheader. Again, going up on your screen is Kova. They are in the navy black color, and Northern Ascendancy coming down your screen, they're in that off-white. Long shot taken from the point. Nice blast by Sakam, but it was deflected wide into the corner. Quick little wrap try, and getting there and covering up was Supreeks. That was a really dangerous play as Kova tried that little wrap attempt.
I think Kova right now really sowing the seeds to try and catch the Supreeks off guard. We see them trying a lot of different things around the back of the net. So for Supreeks right now, you never really know. Is it going to be a wraparound attempt? Is it going to be that pass in front? I think throwing in a few wraparound attempts like that will help open up that space and maybe catch Supreeks off guard. But again, one of the better goaltenders we've ever seen in the Elite Division. Tough to get him off his game.
Northern Ascendancy in the offensive end for the first time, but they lost possession of the puck. Nice takeaway by Honelli, the centerman for Kova. There he is with it, but just offside as the puck came right back towards neutralized barely before Valexit brought it across.
And very intrigued to see what Kova's going to do here in terms of that aggressiveness. Like we said, didn't really pay for it in that last game. Staying out of the box is key for them. See if they're able to do it.
Centering feed on the one-timer. Nice little blast taken by Zip player, but Supreeks making the stop, and the puck moves the other way. Northern Ascendancy pinched at the blue line. They lost possession of the puck. Icebox, a.k.a. Martindale, could not bring it across the blue line cleanly.
That nickname will stick.
We're going to make it stick. Big hit at the blue line, but held in the zone. Quick feed towards the center. Diving, sprawling attempt by Supreeks to make sure that one stayed out. A couple of great chances by Kova, but Northern Ascendancy keeps things even. Here comes a rush perhaps the other way. They're going to hold up as Zip player was waiting for some help. Would have been a 2-on-3 had he attempted the rush there, but lost possession anyway. Under 11 and a half.
at how well how well they've done getting to the danger areas here on this Northern Ascendancy defense. They've done a tremendous job of keeping the pressure up. Nearly got that pass through there as well.
Picked up in the defensive end by the Northern Ascendancy defense. A couple of D-to-D passes, and now a long clearing attempt. Entering the zone onside is Martindale. Centering feed. Left back behind. Now down at the goal line. Spinning around with it is Totali, but losing possession in the corner as Kova scoops it up. A couple passes later, maybe a breakaway chance. Trying to slow things up. Well defended there by Thunkila. He got back and had really good possession because that could have been a breakaway chance for Kova, but the defense getting back. And no shots on that little rush there by Kova, despite the fact that they had a couple of really good chances.
Yeah, Thunkila has done a much better job of kind of securing things defensively. Granted, third period of last game gave up a couple chances, but that was all or nothing mode for them at that point. Done a much better job after a bit of a rough start, after the restart there in that first game.
Martindale blocked the shot. That's led to that rush, but Eagleson's centering feed was taken away, and now a chance here. Northern Ascendancy setting things up from the corner. Play back up top to the point. Long blast blocked off of the skate of Honelli. The puck still in the Kova end. They're going to try to reset here. A couple passes, and they finally get it out of the zone. Zip player in the offensive end. Good back check there by Eagleson. That starts the play the other way. But a nice takeaway there by Veluxit, trying to center perhaps. A pass, dropped off, centering feed. Trying to just drop the knee and knock it in with Zip player, but could not connect. Dumped in. Icing, beaten out. Chance centered off the side of the net. You saw what Eagleson was attempting to do there. Could not connect. And now icing against Kova.
I mean, you expect to see an icing on one side of the ice. Instead, it goes back down the other way. Very big face-off here coming up. Again, a close battle when it comes to the face-offs thus far through this matchup here. Northern Ascendancy able to win it in the O-zone.
But they could not keep possession, but the puck again on an Omaha attempt a little bit too far, and not able to catch up to it was Veluxit. So another icing and another offensive zone face-off for Northern Ascendancy.
Late goal was the difference maker in that first period of the first game. See what happens in this one.
We're down in the final minute of the first. Puck taken away by Kova, moved on ahead. Well defended. Good job by Totali just to make that play. Ooh, an icing whistle. I thought that we were going to see that one beaten out by Eagleson, but the game says no.
The joys of hybrid icing on that one.
15.5 seconds left. Tie up off the draw. But the puck scooped up by Northern Ascendancy. What can they do here in the final 5 seconds? Chipped on ahead towards the corners, scooped up and pinned to the boards by Kova. We will go to the locker rooms tied 0-0 after one.
I love the jump deke attempt there from Dillinger. Why not? Go for it. You know, there's a lot of traffic. It's a highlight reel play if you make it through. A little bit disappointing, I would say, there, though, for Kova towards the end of that period. A couple of chances there to get established in the offensive zone with some icing calls. And again, just couldn't really get it going. Like we said, upon that restart, they got that late goal at the end of the first period in the first game. And that ultimately, it wasn't the winning goal, but I think it was the deciding goal because Northern Ascendancy were forced to chase for the rest of the game. So a huge play there. But there you see, Northern Ascendancy just one shot and sub 70% on the passing. Again, you can talk about what came first, chicken or egg. Is that Northern Ascendancy struggling, or is it Kova's defense really stifling them at this stage? Maybe a combination of both. But right now, not a winning formula for Northern Ascendancy in this one. The two goals we saw from them came within 3 minutes of one another. They haven't had that offensive consistency that you really look for. And again, you know, you talk about it. We mentioned it. You know, the blocker side attempts on Monkeyhead. The best way to get past, you know, to get a puck past him, get the puck to the dirty areas, get him moving laterally, and they just haven't been able to do it so far.
That one shot on goal, by far the fewest in a period today by Northern Ascendancy. They had 3 in the first in game 1 and 4 in each the second and third periods, as we're now underway here in the second period of game 2. Kova bringing it in the zone, drops it back to the D. Long wrister taken, deflected towards the corner. Good shot attempt by Sakam. The puck held in the zone. Now trying to move with it and cycle a little bit. Good little poke, but the puck kept in the zone for the moment by Fakiri. And Northern Ascendancy trying to get it out of their end, and they finally will as it's back towards neutral ice. Big body check delivered. You don't normally expect to see the fights accepted in a game like this at this level.
No, definitely not, especially with some of the complications that can happen because of it on the server side. You never really want to risk it there. But, yeah, again, Kova, we know they're willing to hit. Again, the most physical team in the league.
Well, backhand attempt by Honelli hit the side of the net or maybe the post. I think I heard a slight ping off of that one. Will not count as a shot on goal regardless, as we have icing against Northern Ascendancy.
A lot more icing calls in this game so far here as well. It's kind of a sign of things not really opening up and teams just trying to throw anything they can at the wall to see what sticks.
Kova setting up that centering feed. Dropping the knee was Veluxit, but could not connect on the shot. Held in by Fakiri. Long wrister taken, kicked aside by Suprix. And now along the board, centering himself, trying to make that centering pass with Zip player, but right intercepted, and now a turnover, and a delayed penalty is coming against NA. Puck back towards neutral ice and touched, so a power play chance coming as a tripping call taken by Icebox, a.k.a. Martindale, and it'll be a 2-minute power play chance for Kova, the second best power play in the league this season.
That's a rough break, too, because defensively you had Tunkelia doing a great job shutting down Veluxit, but with that extra bit of space, it's that much more difficult, and they're going to take another penalty here.
A couple quick shots, they're just playing this play over and over. Quick little one-timer and the save made by Suprix. So a 90-second 5-on-3 as Tunkelia will also go to the box. No center and down to defenseman here for 90 seconds.
And again, Northern Ascendancy, the second worst PK in the league. Really, really playing with fire here, I think, is the best way to describe it. Let's see what Kova can do. Huge opportunity.
55 seconds left on the man advantage, the two-man advantage, I should say, but one save made, and then Dillinger backhands it the length of the ice. One more rush at 5-on-3, and then 30 seconds of 5-on-4 power play time for Kova. What can they do here? Centered. A chance. One-timer. That shot ripped wide. Final 10 seconds into the 5-on-3. One-timer again. That one centered. Taken away. Backhanded to center, and here comes Martindale out of the box. On the rush. Short-handed. Forehand. He's checked in the back by Sockham. Really good chance. Does not result in a shot, but we're now back to even strength 5-on-5, 6v6 hockey. Good job by Northern Ascendancy avoiding disaster there. Short-handed 5-on-3 for 90 seconds. And now they get the puck out of the zone, at least back towards neutral ice. So a great PK there by NA, but quick chance now on the backhand puck try by Honelli, turned aside by Suprix.
Not surprised to hear the voice start to go, Drew. No real chance for me to get a word in edgewise. Unbelievable pace through this second period here. Zip players got a bit of a step. Again, they keep trying that pass over and over into the middle through the slot. It's just not happening, but tremendous pressure off of those power plays. But even better shot blocking, I would say, from Northern Ascendancy. They've been fantastic, despite the penalties taken.
Big turnover in the defensive end by Northern Ascendancy, but Kova unable to do anything with it, and finally NA will clear it out towards neutral ice. Battle in front of the Northern Ascendancy bench, and it goes to Kova in the offensive end. We've seen some big hits here delivered by Northern Ascendancy. It's usually the other way around with Kova playing in a game, as we have an icing stoppage with 4:01 to go in the second.
Tough to get hits when you have the puck. I think that was the criticism of the Chicago Blackhawks a couple of years ago when they were at their best. I think it was a Patrick Kane quote, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, why doesn't your team hit that much? Well, we have the puck all the time. But it was interesting there seeing Zip player take a shot for Kova. Maybe a little bit of frustration that the cross-crease strategy isn't working.
Great steal, and that results in a great chance. But Veluxit could not tuck it in. A great little poke check to force that turnover, and then a quick rush for Kova. Another chance here. The puck centered towards the low slot area, but scooped up by Northern Ascendancy and played out. Final 2 minutes of period number 2. Long wrister taken. Great block. Sockham laying the body on the line. Blocking that shot. And the puck now in the offensive end for Kova, but they turn it over, taking it back. Quick little cross-ice feed. Great shot taken. Nice save made by Suprix, who has been on his game here in Game 2.
Tremendous blocks on both sides, but there we see it again. Kova a little bit more willing to shoot the puck, but again, that's the issue. Suprix is so good on his angles. That's why you've had to force the cross crease through this stage of the game.
Quick shot again, the 8th of the period. Shots 8-0 in the second period in favor of Kova. Northern Ascendancy just one shot on goal in the game. You're not going to win doing that, but the game remains 0-0 with 22.5 seconds to play here in the second. Offensive zone draw for Kova, but it's won by Northern Ascendancy. Puck forced towards the corner. Final 7 seconds. Quick little feed. The puck squirts on goal and right into the 5-hole where it's covered up by Supreeks with 5 seconds flat.
Holding on for dear life is the best way to describe NA right now. They need to hold on for the final 4 seconds.
Tonelli can't win the draw on the offensive end. Puck taken away. Quick little wrister. May have gone on goal, but it's sent aside as we come to the conclusion of period number 2. Tons of shots, all by Kova in that period.
It's honestly a surprise at this point to see Northern Ascendancy not trailing in this game. I think, you go back to Kova scoring the 3rd goal, the winning goal from the last game. It has been all them ever since, really. And I mean, that second period, they absolutely took over. And that's the issue for Northern Ascendancy right now. It's not, it's not something we've really talked about a ton, but Kova, the most penalized team in the league, of course, we talked about that a lot. Northern Ascendancy is the second most penalized team in the league, and I think we kind of underplayed that a little bit. I think both teams, kind of had the discipline on point in the first game. There were a couple penalties taken, but yeah, obviously all of that time on attack, the shots, as one-sided of an affair as you will see, I think for two teams that are this close in the standings. Northern Ascendancy clearly stay out of the box, and at the end of the day for them, it's just a matter of getting one at this stage, but you have to wonder how long can this scramble style of defense possibly hold on.
Offside, 30 seconds into the third period here. I mean, for Northern Ascendancy, to be tied at 0 after a period like that where you're outshot 8-0 is, I mean, I guess you count that as a win considering how much of a near disaster that second period was. And here, trying to start things off was Kova with possession of the offensive end, but they could not connect on that centering feed. 8-0 shots on goal. We'd only seen one period of 8 shots in total, and it was split 4-4 in the third period of the last game.
I mean, again, that was an extremely dominant second period based off of the special teams effort. But you said it, at the end of the day, NA still very much in this. One goal could be the difference maker. We've made enough 80s references today. Why not make another one? I think you look at it like the United States and the USSR when it comes down to okay, well, we're getting absolutely crushed on the stats, but hey, the scoreboard's what matters. See what happens here. I mean, NA could very well steal this. The pressure, I think, is more so on Kova here. They need these points more so than Northern Ascendancy right now, in my opinion, just based off of the schedule. And I think it's that much more difficult for Kova because the frustration has to be setting in that they still haven't found the back of the net. Commentators curse be damned.
Nearly had a rush, but getting back to play some defense was Tutali. Results in no shots being taken. We have not seen a shot on goal in this period. That changes right there. First shot since the first, and it comes by Eagleson. Now a breakout play. Here comes Kova the other way. Quick little shot. The goaltender ended up out of position, but unable to capitalize was Honelli. And the puck play. Here comes maybe a 2-on-1, a 3-on-3 is what it turns out to be. Quick little poke check. Forces the puck wide. Quick chance on the rebound try. Martindale may have shot that one just wide. Maybe gets another opportunity here. Martindale from down low. Shot it from behind the net. Quick little pass. A nice save made. And the puck played out. Northern Ascendancy getting way more offense in this period so far than they had in the first 40.
That was an incredible save. Somehow that puck had eyes and found its way through traffic. Don't know how that one ended up on net, but Monkeyhead with a phenomenal stop. Tremendous pressure from NA. Turnover here. Shot. And somehow, did that go 5-hole to the back wall? Crazy
Very well
pace.
made. Suddenly the offense picking up for both sides. Quick little breakout. 1-on-1. Who will win this battle? Zip player. Gets a little bit of space. Tries to force his way in, but Supreeks holding strong. I think that Zip player was trying to use the threat of that cross crease pass to try and just drive the puck straight in the net. Supreeks not fooled.
Not going to catch a goaltender of his caliber moving on that play. Just don't see it happening.
So that's 7.5 minutes left to be played here in a scoreless third period. Kova moves in. Blast from the D. but that one blocked in traffic, and Northern Ascendancy sends it back towards center ice. They could not cross the opposing blue line with it. Puck possession battle, go ahead.
I'm going to say just over 6 minutes left here, still scoreless, which is crazy to think based off of the opportunities that we've seen. I don't know what it's going to take, but there you see Kova trying to work the dump and chase again.
Centering feed, that one off of a skate and towards the corner where it's scooped up by Tutali. Big turnover, but could not capitalize as recovering was Martindale. Sent in deep, the puck bounced towards the crease. Interesting little ricochet that took off of the end boards. Kova recovered. Offside. Threes are wild. Third period, 3:33 to go.
We'll see a
4 shots on goal in this period by Northern Ascendancy.
Yeah,
we have a timeout.
And here's the thing again here now for Kova. They need this goal. An overtime appearance for these two teams goes the way of Northern Ascendancy. Kova wouldn't be able to catch them. They'd still be 1 point behind. Like I said, I pointed out that schedule. Northern Ascendancy have H-Reds and Sawo, which is a little bit more of a favorable matchup than having to play Dark Horse and Philadelphia like Kova have to do. So 3:33 to go, and Kova needs this goal desperately.
Will be a neutral ice face-off just outside of the Kova end. Tied up off the draw, and the puck will end up with Veluxit. And now in the offensive zone is Kova. That quick shot taken, the save made, and the puck immediately moved out by Northern Ascendancy. No second chance opportunities for Kova this period as we saw another just gigantic hit. I've stopped pointing them out. There have just been so many in this game.
Ever-present, gigantic hit. It's what you're going to see between these two teams.
Quick feed on the one-timer in the goal. Hugh Eagleson puts his team on top after getting dominated for so long. Northern Ascendancy gets the first goal of the game.
And that could be the season for Kova right there. A heartbreaker. Obviously, now you hope for overtime. Desperately, you hope for overtime to at least get a point out of this. But as it stands, we would be seeing Northern Ascendancy regain that 4-point lead over Kova, with both teams having just 4 games to play. Northern Ascendancy may have just secured their spot in the playoffs, unless we see a miracle Hail Mary here from Kova, or maybe from SJ Gaming or Gotham Knights here to end the season. But that is a huge goal, and Kova has everything to play for here in the final minute.
I am getting too old for this.
It is a real-time minute. We'll see what happens here. Puck in the offensive end for Northern Ascendancy. Nice little poke check to just force it towards the corner. Knew that they were not going to be able to pick it up cleanly, so might as well just get it in deep and kill off an extra few seconds. Final 40 seconds as the puck comes into the offensive end, but immediately cleared back to center. Fakiri could not hold the zone, and then brings it in offside with 36.2 left to go here in the third period. Low EA will probably make that. No, they actually kept it. Oftentimes, whenever I point that out, I always see that they remove a tenth of a second.
Yes, so that is normally the case, but here we go now. 33 seconds. Can Kova finally find that goal that they're so desperate for?
Held in by the D, now down low. Honelli centering feed, the one-timer sent wide. Veluxit had a great chance from the low slot area on the feed from Honelli, but denied.
Empty net. Goaltender's on as an extra attacker.
Final 12 seconds on the rush. What can they do? A penalty taken by Northern Ascendancy. It's a trip with 10.3, so it will be a 6-on-4 for the final 10 seconds. Now, the upside for Northern Ascendancy is you win this draw, send it the length of the ice. No icing is possible. That would probably end this game.
For Monkey Head to get to the front of the net here as the extra attacker.
Puck forced towards the corner. Final 6 seconds. What can they do? D-to-D, the blast, blocked in traffic. Loose in front, the puck, sent on net. Couple saves made, covered up, and that is it. Supreek stays tall, stands strong, and picks up his first shutout of the season as Northern Ascendancy earns the 2-2 split in points, with Kova likely locking them in to a playoff spot.
An incredible turn of events there, and I'm running out of ways to describe what we just saw in that series, knowing the importance of it. An incredible scramble there at the end by Supreeks, able to keep them out. And again, we talked about it. This is a guy entered play, third all-time in shutouts in league history, yet to have one on the season. That's number 64 in his incredible ECL career, and what a way to get the job done there. for someone who, again, is looking to next season take over the all-time wins record as well. One of the best, and you saw it there. An incredible performance. Incredible is really the only word I got at this stage. Tremendous job from Northern Ascendancy to somehow survive that incredible amount of pressure in the second period, only, of course, to then, what a turn of events. What a turn of events, Drew. Unbelievable and devastating for Kova.
And you got to point out, too, the power plays that Kova had, because they had 4 in that game, including a 90-second 5-on-3, and could not capitalize. They outshot Northern Ascendancy 11-1 across the first 40 minutes, and they were outshot 5-4 in the third and lose 1-0. That is an incredibly difficult way to go down in that, to get 15 shots on goal and not be able to capitalize a single time. We know Supreeks makes saves. He leads the league in saves this season. We know that he's used to facing a lot of shots on goal, but to not even be able to crack him that once, which would have been obviously game-changing in this kind of a situation, just unreal after the way that we saw the first 2 periods go, the way that third period ended up.
Absolutely. And again, that's just 2 games down. We still have 2 more to go. Can't wait to see how these play out, too.
Yeah, so that was the 8 versus 9 matchup, Kova and Northern Ascendancy. Coming up, it's the 6 versus 15, Vesa Pompa and Conquer Gaming. And this is going to be an interesting matchup to see the way that this goes, because we talked about how close these teams are in the standings. We were talking about the lower half of the playoff teams, or even from 3 down to somewhere in the 10 or 11 range in the standings. They're not separated by all that much. So we talked about crucial points for Northern Ascendancy. They're now up to 31, which is 1 more than Vesa Pompa entered the day with.
Yeah, I mean, again, still huge playoff implications coming up here. It's a shame we got to take a short break because, man, we have so much to talk about, but we'll try to fit all of it in when we get the opportunity.
Wilhelmin ykköskentän pakkeina uudet tulokkaat. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
Welcome back. We are halfway through our doubleheader of doubleheaders. Drew Goldfarb, a.k.a. Farbsy, joined by Tugi. We have 2 games down. They were both incredible to watch. And now we're turning to matchup between the 6th seed and the 15 seed in the league right now as the season winds down. We're in that final week. So all of these games are important for every single team top to bottom with the way that the postseason and relegation works in this league.
Absolutely. And right now, again, the matchup coming up, Vesa Pompa and Conquer Gaming. Pressure's on Vesa Pompa right now as it stands. Again, we'll, of course, try to get you guys a look at the updated results as we go along through here. But Vesa Pompa has actually, since the beginning of this broadcast, dropped from 6th to 8th. Granted, they have 2 games at hand on Roots Gaming and Northern Ascendancy, both who are on 31 points, Vesa Pompa on 30. So a little bit of pressure right now on Vesa Pompa to keep pace. They're a team that we thought might crack the top 3. Right now, 6 points back of H-Reds, could be as low as 2 by the end of the day, just to show you how close the battle is right now between the 3rd seed and the 8th seed. Again, still a lot to decide throughout this week. But again, you get a look at some of the matchups there, and the ones that stand out to me, of course, aside from what we just called with Northern Ascendancy and Kova, you have Kova Esports, picking up a couple points there against SJ Gaming. SJ taking 3 out of 4 for a team that's trying to fight their way back into the playoff hunt. They're not totally out of it. For Sawo, big moment there to at least pick up a point and putting the pressure on the teams below them in the drop zone. But as well, Färjestad able to pick up 2 points against Philadelphia. They lost both games. That's going to help them in the standings a lot. You have Roots and H-Reds splitting their series. I mean, literally throughout every single matchup you see here, there are huge playoff implications. And then, of course, you see at the bottom there, Conquer Gaming's most recent results. We'll talk more about their situation here in a second.
And we want to take a look at the updated standings because we have that for you. So you can see an up-to-the-minute look at the playoff picture there. And as you said, Vesa Pompa entered the day. They were in 6th. They are now currently sitting in 8th. Northern Ascendancy has jumped them. Roots Gaming has jumped them as well. But again, 1 point back. They've got 2 games in hand. And SJ Gaming, breathing down everybody's necks as well. They're 3 points out of a playoff spot with the same number of games played as Vesa Pompa. So they'll be watching this game very closely.
Absolutely. I mean, again, that's all we've been able to really talk about today is just how close the playoff situation happens to be. I mean, aside from Philadelphia, and credit to Eki for the host, by the way. Of course, he knows we appreciate that. One of our fellow broadcasters here, of course, on the Finnish side. Not sure if he's covering the broadcast on Thursday, but I do hope to see him back in the booth soon. But aside from Philadelphia and Havu in the top two, like I said, you can see it there, the 3 seed in H-Reds, and how close that battle is with Vesa Pompa in the 8th seed to have those 2 games at hand. But like you just mentioned, Drew, SJ Gaming stealthily sneaking their way up the table right now. They might be able to make a play for that 8th seed. Again, for Kova Esports right now, the situation just got a lot worse because of what SJ Gaming's been able to do. I think, again, unfortunately, with the schedule that they have coming up, it's going to be a little bit too strong, but we'll see if they can pull off a miracle. You have Gotham now up to 11th as well, which is great news for them. Again, you look at the teams between 11 and really down to 13th, 11, 12, and 13, I'd say. Those are the 3 teams who are in danger of finishing in 13th. And again, that would force them into a relegation situation. So much to play for up and down the standings.
Yeah, really interesting. And I like when you're taking a look at this, just to really hammer home the point of Philadelphia and Havu, how good they are. The difference between number 2 and number 3 is the same, or different, or there's more of a gap there than there is between 3 and 10. That is how far ahead that Philadelphia Havu, and Havu's only played 24 games too, so they're going to move up. They're probably going to be closer to 49, like with Philadelphia in that kind of situation. So remarkable how that goes. And also goes to show just how tight the playoff race could end up being here, as most of the teams on your screen there have 4 games left in the season. Some of them have 6 games left, including the teams that we're going to be seeing coming up in just a bit, Vesa Pompa and Conquer Gaming. And as we look at the matchup between these teams, what kind of jumps out at you as you're taking a look at these numbers?
I mean, obviously for Conquer Gaming, you're talking about a team that's second last in the league, but a huge opportunity here to take points. I think if they can take points away from Vesa Pompa here, they'll be able to get that separation over Dark Horse that they need to condemn last year's pro champions in Dark Horse to go right back down to the division that they came from. And I think, for Conquer right now, this is, I don't want to say the toughest matchup that they have, but all 3 teams that they have to face, including Vesa Pompa here, are in the playoff hunt. They play SJ Gaming on Wednesday and Roots on Thursday. So it's going to be pretty tough. You're going to be in a relegation playoff battle at this stage. It's just a matter of, can you avoid automatic relegation? And obviously what sticks out like a sore thumb here is just that defensive track record. And unfortunately, I guess unfortunately for other teams, they've actually allowed more goals. Conquer 14th out of 16th in terms of goals allowed. Again, the power play and penalty kill are just pedestrian. The offense, 14th out of 16th as well. It's a huge uphill battle here against Vesa Pompa, one of the better defensive teams in the league, but a team that offensively, the numbers have been slipping a little bit. They're down to just 11th for goals for, with 48 on the season.
It will be interesting to see how that plays out. And you're talking about also with Conquer Gaming, the fewest shots on goal this season. They're last in the ECL Elite with 186. That was entering today, was their stat on that. I like that we have pizza now, too. So not only am I starving thanks to our great sponsors, Wilhelm, but also now we have pizza in the logo. So I'm just going to be absolutely hungry for both of these games. Really hungry for some great esports matchups, as well as some food shortly after, I'm sure. So let's take a look at the lineups here, because we are approaching start time for these games. You can see all 6 players on both sides. And before we get to the position-by-position breakdown, Tugi, just kind of players that you're keeping an eye on for this game.
Well, obviously, you look at this situation right now and you say, like, okay, well, everybody needs to be on their game for sure. With Vesa Pompa, I mean, again, there's actually quite a bit to talk about here, I would say, all things considered. Main man, I think, to watch out for is Yergely leading the team with 34 points. On the flip side, Conquer Gaming, I think the success starts on defense with Kapako, the captain of this squad, next to a rookie defenseman in Talamies. But like you mentioned, with the individual breakdowns, we do have a lot to talk about. But I think the thing to look at here, you look at the last 4 games, Conquer, one win in their last 4, split series against Gotham Knights. They were swept by Sawa, which really did condemn them to a relegation battle position. And again, right now they need to pick up points to avoid Dark Horse jumping them and sending them down, sending Conquer down, I would say, automatically. But again, for Vesa Pompa, just not the best week last week. They had a 1-1 split against Northern Ascendancy. They lost both games to Havu. They did pick up an overtime point in that one, but like we talked about, that little bit of a slide going on. But I think the key here for, I would say, Conquer, all things considered, right now, again, they have that advantage to try and avoid the relegation zone, but they are known for being in close games. And honestly, it's been those 1-goal games that have been killers for them. They have lost 6 1-goal games in a row. Again, that's not to say that they've lost 6 games in a row by 1, but in those incredibly close matchups, they just haven't been able to get the job done, and that is why they find themselves in the situation.
So we go to the position-by-position matchups here. We're going to start down the middle. I'm not even going to give you the option this time. We're going to start with the centerman. Sometimes I like to give you that option. This time, I'm not going to do that. Just not feeling it. Conquer Gaming, this is when you're looking at the position matchup head-to-head, this is the only position of the 5 skaters where offensively, statistically, it favors Conquer Gaming.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing about Yurtzik here, too, and he's someone we're going to talk about here in a little bit. We're going to try to rush through these because we're getting very close to puck drop. But with Yurtzik and Ekin, like you said, the point totals are pretty close. Yurtzik leading his team in assists, also a bit of a clutch factor with 3 game-winning goals for his team. The face-off battle also incredibly close, so very even matchup down the middle.
Taking a look at the wings now, and what jumps out at you here, Tugi, as you take a look at the left wing, right wing matchups for both of these teams?
It's got to be Villapoika, who I think is one of, in terms of like the main man here, he is one of the most, I think, underrated, if not underappreciated players in this league. I mean, you look at it, 30 points in 24 games, only 13 goals scored. But what you might not know is that he is 8th all-time in goals scored in the ECL, and he can actually tie the man ahead of him, Mookie Masteri, who I don't believe is hasn't played for a bit here, but he is 7th. He's just 1 goal back. 468 goals to Villapoika's credit. Also 3rd all-time in power play goals, so always a dangerous threat at this stage. He has a good option next to him as well in Jurgeli, who we're going to talk about here in a little bit. Also an incredibly physical player, 101 hits leading the team. So a very dangerous front 2 for Vesa Pompa in this matchup. And of course, for Conquer on the other side, you talk about Vilca, someone who's capable of a little bit more than what we've seen from him this season. And then the rookie in Tatanov, who I also want to talk about a little bit more later on, but leading his team in goals with 15.
Let's take a look at the defense really quick to see. These are the guys who are basically that first line of defense before the goaltender to try and slow down the opposing offenses. And besides the fantastic hair that we see on display here, plus a hat, what kind of jumps out at you here for the defenseman?
I mean, we'll talk about Sebi Larsson's impact in this lineup a little bit more later on here. But Laminen's, of course, the captain of this team, a very strong defensive player. And again, another rookie in the lineup for Conquer Game against Talonmies, who, fairly impressive, 12 points in 24 games in his rookie campaign as well. So intrigued to see who can kind of step up offensively here to try and match the output that we see from Laminen's, at least from the Conquer Gaming side of things. Sebi Larsson, obviously a little bit more of the defensive type between the two Vesa Pompa defensemen.
Taking a look at the matchup between the pipes, we've got FaZe, we've got Uristi, and you're looking at the numbers here. I mean, there is a bit of a the save percentages are pretty close, but that goals against average very different between these two goaltenders.
Absolutely. And to quickly respond to a point from Alari in the chat about Villapoika being underrated. Yes, Villapoika's underrated. How often do you hear him get talked about amongst the playmakers, the Yokis, the Flyer Kungans? He is absolutely underrated. Does not get nearly the amount of respect as he deserves. But for those in the know, you know that he is one of the best of all time in this league. But getting to the goaltenders here between FaZe and Uresti. FaZe had a very strong start to the season. The numbers still pretty good. 6th in save percentage right now at 80%. And of course, 3 shutouts on the season as well. Those numbers were a little bit higher, though, at the start of the season. Like I said, when Vesa Pompa found themselves towards the top 3 or 4, instead of here, where right now the pressure's on them a little bit to regain some points. Uresti on the flip side, save percentage not quite where he'd want it to be. Someone who's capable of a little bit more, but it's not as if a 77% is all that bad.
So as these teams get ready to face off, I'm going to let you go and give us your keys to the game, and I'm hoping to see some puns in here, and maybe whether or not they match some pronunciations properly or not, I'll let those slide. But what do you got for the keys to the game?
We'll try to run through this as fast as we can. For Vesa Pompa, first point here, assistant captain Clutch Yergely, 7 game-winning goals on the season. That is half of his team's total on the season. Of course, with the 14 wins for Vesa Pompa so far. Second point here, Sebi Larson, more like Sebi Larson, because W's. He wins, and this team wins when he is in the lineup. 10-5-1 when Sebi's in the lineup. He's played 16 out of 24 games, but I'm sure he's glad, or I'm sure they're glad that he's in the lineup today. And then our final point here, FaZe can, because the numbers, as I talked about, have slipped a little bit this season, but no doubt he is the go-to man between the pipes. He's been the better of the goaltenders, and to go from our lowest division, our Neo tier, tier 4, to the starter job over established goaltenders like Thunborg and Disco Kricken is incredibly impressive. So very, very impressed with him so far. And that brings us over to the Conquer Gaming keys. Again, just a few seconds away here from puck drop. A crucial experience. Talked about it already. You have 2 players with pro experience, our Tier 2 league in Titanov and ultimately as well with Talonmies. And I think with Titanov as well, I labeled him as a guy to watch this season. I was very impressed with his start. 30 points in 24 games as a rookie, leading his team in points and goals with 15. Excited to see what he can do here. And again, you hope for their sake that they can stay in the elite division. But then on the flip side, you have the veteran experience. It's the second season for Vilca and Yurtzik, but we have seen a bit of a sophomore slump, hence the squad being in the spot that they're in. Yurtzik has dropped from 15 goals to 8 this season. Vilca's dropped from 20 down to 10. Those two need to find their scoring touch. And then, of course, our last point here where the lights are on bright. Uresti is a solid regular season goalie, but history has shown that he can really step up in a big-time situation like this. He needs to step up today. Again, I look back to, say, the playoff situation that he had not all that long ago, the elite playoffs in Season 9 with the Ghetto Firebirds. He was 4-0 in that matchup. That's what got them into the elite division. He had an 89% save percentage in those 4 games in that relegation playoff battle. So this is a guy who can step it up when the lights are on the brightest, and I look forward to seeing him doing just that today. And if he does, it could be a very disappointing day for Vesa Pompa.
Vesa Pompa trying to reclaim their spot as the 6th seed in the league right now. Conquer Gaming, they're being cheered on by basically every team that is currently between Vesa Pompa and Conquer Gaming in the standings of the ECL Elite. They're also trying to, as you pointed out, trying to better their positioning and maybe try to avoid a relegation battle later on. But we are getting set for puck drop of Game 1. When you're looking at these teams, I mean, obviously you're looking at, just since we're obviously finding the teams now, Vesa Pompa currently now in the 8th spot. I love, by the way, looking at the floating players. Those animations are fantastic, always. But is the pressure on a team like that that's trying to reclaim their spot in the standings, or is it more on a team like Conquer Gaming who's trying to avoid being one of the bottom spots? I know I'm putting a lot of pressure on you, especially this close to puck drop, but quick thoughts on it as we are.
I mean, it's a close call. I mean, you look throughout the lineups there as well. The player types are very similar with the puck movers. So, I mean, both of these teams kind of going with the meta, what you would expect and what gives them the best chance to win. I would say, arguably, the pressure has to be on Vesa Pompa a little bit more because more was expected of them with a playoff push last year. And then, again, this was a team that came out of the gates firing on all cylinders. Where, like I said, the team I think everyone expected to see join the top 2. And we've talked about that, last year we were really looking at Yippee Vaskala and H-Reds as the guys, that were going to make it go from a top 2 with Philadelphia and Havu into a big 3, a big 4, and it didn't really pan out in the playoffs. And then this year, it looked like it was going to be Vesa Pompa maybe replacing the Yippee Vaskala towards, a team of that stature. And like I said, they've slipped a little bit. Yippee Vaskala, funny enough, have regrouped as we see a big stop there from FaZe. So I'd say the pressure's on Vesa Pompa just a little bit more because I don't know if Conquer Gaming had the expectations of, hey, this is going to be a playoff team, and then the expectations that were placed upon them afterwards from such a strong start to the regular season.
And was a couple of nice little saves made there by FaZe to get things going here. And now on the rush is Vesa Pompa. Defenseman can't hold in the zone. Nice little poke check by Tatanov, and here he goes, trying to lead the rush, but caught from behind and loses the puck towards the corner. Takes it right back. Quick little wrister. That one thought got blocked in traffic, but it made its way through. FaZe covers up, and again, an offensive zone faceoff coming up for Conquer Gaming. They are in the white and red. Going down on your screen, Vesa Pompa in the black and yellow. Going up on your screen for this game one of their doubleheader here. Quick little wrister, whistles wide from Villapoika. Now a quick chance from behind the net. That one off of the leg pad as Yurtzik had the chance but could not do anything with it. Quick little one-time feed cross crease and a save made. First time that the goaltender has been tested today for Conquer Gaming. Uresti coming up strong and again stops the puck as it rolls into the blue paint. Covers up this time for a whistle. 12:44 to go in the first period.
And you saw the pressure there from Villapoika. Leads his team in takeaways, not afraid to get in the face of the opposition as they try to break out, and he has a great chance there. Better stop by Uresti.
Had a rebound try as well, but did not have the angle for it. Still in the offensive zone for Vesa Pompa as they play with it D to D and back again. Quick little feed down low in the corner. Villapoika got it, tried to get it back up top, but it goes way up top and all the way back down into the defensive end where it's chased down by the Vesa Pompa defense.
I like the pressure there from Vilca and Tatanov. Not afraid to get down low and really force the issue there, but not putting themselves in too bad of a spot, being over-aggressive. I think it'll be a recipe for success here for Conquer in the series.
Was a key in the first doubleheader we saw, be aggressive, but not overly aggressive. So a little callback to that. That's a 20s throwback, I guess.
I mean, hey, it's not a bad thing to see the keys to success for other teams and say, oh yeah, we should probably do that too.
It's just going to be the keys for the next broadcast. You're just going to be like, pay attention to what we said the other team should do. Just, ditto. Ditto for you. Quick little, I think that was a centering pass, ended up off the leg pad of FaZe. Unfazed by that shot, making the stop as 6.5 minutes left to be played here in a scoreless first period. Seb Larson moved it on ahead, now back in neutral ice. Gets it back again to the defenseman, and now to his defense partner, Manis. And now a quick centering feed, intercepted, but taken right back. Quick little wrister blocked in traffic.
I mean, it's good pressure right now from Vesa Pompa trying to get these passes through. Conquer right now, though, Kabako and Talamis doing a pretty good job, and I think we saw a lot of examples like that throughout the prior series as well, with the defense needing to stand tall. So we'll see how things happen to play out here throughout this face-off. 4 minutes left here, Drew, in this one. I know the game just started. You see him out of breath already.
Oh, I had a mini heart attack. I had a little pop-up that said, your MacBook is running low on power and will shut down if you don't plug it in. And I was like, oh, I totally forgot to plug this in when I started earlier. So I wanted to give you a partial heart attack by not saying anything and just slightly walking off of my webcam screen and see how you'd react. You handled it very well. I give you an A- on that.
Thank you. I appreciate that. I mean, obviously, I've called my fair share of games play-by-play wise, so I am fully prepared, I think, for any situation, unless our lovely producer here has issues, in which case I'll panic.
I just checked. My computer's actually at 6%, having just plugged it back in. So apparently some high power usage here for this. Final 5 seconds, quick little rush. Puck rolls on goal, covered up, and we'll have a face-off with just over 2 seconds left to go here in the first as Uresti covered up. So maybe not the hand to the side that Ekin would want this draw, but if he can win this cleanly, maybe a chance for one last shot. Kicks it over. Quick little chance, rushing the slot. Could not get the shot away. Lemanis picked up the puck off the draw, but could not get the shot on goal. The first period comes to an end. No score.
Very close stats across the board, though. 4 shots to 3. The time on attack is close. The passing percentage, the face-offs. For Conquer Gaming right now, you got to be feeling pretty good. Again, this is a team in Vesa Pompa that you would expect to see in the playoffs, and obviously, that is the expectation, and they have a little bit of pressure on them here now to take advantage of these games at hand after the games that have already been played earlier today. So for Conquer to stick with a team like this, a team that has doubled their point total, 15 points for Conquer, 30 for Vesa Pompa on the season, for them to stick with them and have it be that close to the first period, that's impressive. We're going to see if they can build upon it, though.
Tie up off the draw by Ekin, but scooped up by Conquer Gaming. They're trying to get a little rush to open up period number 2, but unable to get it beyond the top of the face-off circles. And moving out with it is Jurgeli. Now in the offensive end, scooping it up is Ekin in the corner, circling behind the net, holding up, trying to find a pass, drops it off and gets it back again. Ekin behind the net, passes to the winger. Jurgeli moving around, drops it off to the defenseman, pinching in Limanis. Down low behind the net, huge hit, separates Ekin from the puck. Finally moved out of the zone, but Ekin scoops it right back up. Ooh, just offside. He tried to time it, but Jurgeli had not quite crossed the blue line. I don't know if maybe the skate was in the air, but that one hasn't been adapted to NHL 21.
Thankfully, that rule has changed, but good pressure again by Vesa Pompa, forcing the issue with Kapako there on the right-hand side of your screen, trying to get that breakout going.
Puck again in the low slot area, but unable to beat Uresti is Vesa Pompa. Back in the offensive end, trying to get the puck down low. Skating with it is Ekin in the corner, hands it off to the winger, Jurgeli. Maybe a wrap try, could not get it to the front of the net. Nice little light body check by Conquer Gaming, forces the separation. Kako starting that one the other way.
A bit of an errant pass there from Titanov. Conquer need to try and get the offense going a little bit. On the back foot a bit too much here in the second period so far.
Quick try, but unable to force his way towards the slot was Jurgeli as it's moved out by Conquer Gaming. Managed to clear the zone. A little back check from Jurgeli. Forced the effort, forced the play a little bit. That little pass banked off the leg pad of FaZe. Ends up as a shot on goal. I think it was meant to be a cross-ice pass, a little sauce being thrown to the bottom left side of your screen, but ended up connecting with goalies like that instead. I
really like that forechecking pressure from the wingers of Conquer. I mean, sound, fundamental forechecking pressure. Really, again, just waiting for Vesa Pompa to make a mistake. So far, they haven't, though.
And speaking of not a mistake, there is a rip from just inside the blue line by the defenseman, and Limanis has Vesa Pompa on the board first.
The captain making it happen. It hurts me to say as a Bruins fan, but a Chara-esque one-timer from the point, top shelf. You're not stopping that one. That is an incredible shot. Unfortunately, Uresti screened a little bit by his own captain and Kapako in front, and that was just a picture-perfect shot from Laminins. And again, we mentioned it, Conquer Gaming just a little bit too far on the back foot to start the second period after a pretty strong first period. But that was a fantastic shot there. And Vesa Pompa where they want to be, on top 1-0 here.
Hey, Zdeno Chara mentioned. That is a capital reference, if I do say so myself.
I'm going to go cry for
like
a little bit. Thank you.
Under 10 minutes to play here in the second period. Now 1-0, Vesa Pompa on top. Conquer Gaming trying to lead the rush. They have it in the offensive end, separated from the puck. Nice body check by the goal scorer, Limanis. Unable to clear the zone, though. Held in nicely by Conquer Gaming. What can they do with it? Chipped in deep on the backhand, trying to chase it down was Tatanov, but never quite got to him. The defender, Vesa Pompa, read that the whole way, and they will go offside with 7:42 left.
Vilipoika there just got caught up on the defenseman. Couldn't get back to hold the blue line on that attempt. Really good job there by Conquer Gaming just to be in the right spot. Be in the way is a solid, being in the way is a solid defensive strategy this year in this game. So good display there for Conquer Gaming. Again, right now, that forechecking pressure is giving Vesa Pompa some trouble, but you can see they really have the composure, or maybe not, to withstand the pressure here. A little bit of trouble still.
Tatanov made that nice steal, but could not do anything with it. It was taken back, and Vesa Pompa moved it back into the offensive end as it is taken back, and now Conquer Gaming restarting from their own zone. Under 5.5 to play here. Nice little drop pass up for Kepiko, and now moved on ahead, trying to leave it back for the defenseman, but it intercepted by Vilipoika, and now moved on ahead. Jurgeli couldn't do anything with it, forced towards the corner, gets it back down low, trying to center. Was the center, but Ekin could not complete the pass.
I mean, much better job here by Conquer Gaming to shut things down. They're looking a little bit more up for it offensively. Kapako can't do anything, though. The defenseman on the breakaway, nowhere to go. That was great positioning from FaZe.
Kapako with a great chance, and FaZe says Kapak no, denying him on that one.
This is why he gets paid the big bucks, folks.
If there's a terrible pun to be made, that's basically what I get paid for. Final 60 seconds here is period number 2. A 1-0 lead on a goal scored by Lemanis. Vesa Pompa tried to move it out, but could not cross the blue line with possession. And Conquer Gaming will start things up with 8 seconds left. What can they do? Final rush. That bank pass banked off of the skate of Villapoica, and that will do it for the second period. 1 goal scored in the frame. And the number 6 team, now currently the number 8 team in the ECL Elite, on top 1-0.
I mean, again, a bomb of a shot from Lehman's, his 6th of the season. A great goal for him to really put the pressure on here. Vesa Pompa in a pretty good spot. Again, they know that pressure was on to really get the results back that they lost earlier. And Lehman's, someone who can put up the goals from the back end here. And again, we saw it there. Only had 3 goals last season, doubled his total already. Still has 5 games left after this one to go. So very impressed with the captain there. We'll see how this one plays out. Big third period for Conquer Gaming. Again, their chance to get that little bit of extra insurance over Dark Horse at the bottom of the standings, potentially slipping away here.
Conquer Gaming has outshot Vesa Pompa of the first 2 periods. The shots in that second period were 2-1 in favor of Conquer Gaming, but the 1 for Vesa Pompa, a goal. So always important to be able to capitalize on your chances. Here's an opportunity. Conquer Gaming trying to center it back. Backhander swatted on goal. Another chance that the puck was loose, but scooped up by the goal scorer, Lemanis. And now taken out. Vesa Pompa rushing the other way. 2-on-2 rush, trying to move the puck towards the slot, and it will be covered up for a stoppage with 17:02 to go in regulation.
Couple kicks at the can there for Vilca. Conquer right in front of the net. Just couldn't get a piece of the puck. Ekin on the other side. A chance to sweep that one in. Again, Uresti able to make a big stop.
3.5 minutes gone by here in the third period. Quick rush. Tatanov, nice little spin move, but lost possession of the puck at the last possible second. Well defended as getting back was Lemanis. Taking that one away, because what a chance that was. That spin was 95% successful. Just lost at the last possible moment.
It's one of the reasons why I labeled Tatanov one of the rookies to watch this season. Good creativity from him.
Great chance down low, but unable to capitalize was Ekin. He now has the puck in the corner, handed off. Now trying to connect wing to wing, but intercepting that play was Vilca. And the puck moved back towards, at least towards neutral ice, where it's scooped up by Villapoica. With some space, top of the hash marks, centering feed. Defenseman trying to find some space. Centered again, and that shot was blocked. Pass connected, but Villapoica could not capitalize, could not score, and here he comes on a rush. Centering feed, a good defensive effort there by Kepico. Making the read, getting in the passing lane, and taking it away.
And again, right now for Conquer, that strong first period start, that offensive consistency slipped away from him. Big steal here, though.
Ooh, and that one too many passes to create that opportunity. Saw what he was trying to do as Yurtsik tried to center that one back, but could not connect on the spinning backhand pass. Bank pass on ahead. Now on the offensive end, Yurgeli lost possession of the puck. 9 minutes remaining in the third period. 1-0 lead. Vesa Pompa trying to reclaim their 6th seed, which they pretty much could do.
Right now, this benefits Vesa Pompa. The game slowing down, time winding down. Certainly to their favor right now. Again, Conquer Gaming looking a little bit more up for it offensively. Trouble here, though.
Nice little rush attempt, but a poke check forces the separation from the puck and Yurgeli. Helenmies was starting things up, but again, Conquer Gaming trying to get out of their own zone, and now in the offensive end. Here's a chance, but rushing 1-on-2 and unable to convert on it was Conquer Gaming. Puck still in the offensive end, but possessed by Vesa Pompa. And they will move things out after a huge pair of hits.
Sounded like a car wreck along the boards there. That was unbelievable.
4 minutes, 10 seconds remaining in the third. Maybe an insurance goal for Vesa Pompa as they had it in the zone, but could not capitalize, could not get a shot away. Big separation yet again right at the blue line. The puck stays in the zone. Conquer Gaming resetting and trying to work their way out. Big forechecking pressure from Vesa Pompa, but finally Conquer Gaming out of their zone. In the offensive end, 2 minutes, 15 seconds to go in regulation time. That one-time cross-ice pass went just off the mark. Banked around the boards. Up top, Telenmies with possession. Spins it back to the centerman. Centering feed, backhanded towards the net, but never quite reached. Tatanov had the chance, could not get the force behind it to put it on goal and test phase. Final real-time minute to close out the period. Quick little feed and a little slap shot turned aside easily by Phase. Centered, one-timer, we're tied. 48.5 seconds to go, and the goal belongs to Kepiko.
Anything you can do, I can do better. Both captains along the blue line getting involved in this one. Lehmanen started it off with his 6th of the year, and Kapako gets it right back. No better time than that final minute of play. Just his 2nd goal of the season. Had 10 registered shots through 24 games. But when he shoots, he makes it matter. And that one, as big of a goal as Conquer Gaming scored all season with 48 seconds to play here in the 3rd period.
Great setup. It was just a situation where they finally were able to produce something out of their chances, and now forcing separation in the defensive end. Conquer Gaming starting back up. Here comes a rush with some speed. Tried to center, but well played. Yellow on yellow there. Lehmanen forcing the separation under 30 seconds to go. 1-1 contest. Next goal, very likely to win it. Yurgali moves into the offensive end and then loses possession. Under 20 seconds to go. Will either of these teams be trying to win this in regulation, or are both of them going to settle for getting at least 1 point? That's what Conquer Gaming looks like they're doing, taking their time. Under 8 seconds to go, and they lose possession in the offensive end. Vesa Pompa, a long pass on ahead, back towards neutral ice, and we are going to overtime. 1-1 contest after 60 minutes. OT coming up in just a few moments.
That is a great result for Conquer Gaming, now at least 4 points clear of Dark Horse in the basement of this division. Of course, another point here, whether it be with a win or, of course, we still have a 2nd game to play here, would be huge for them. Vesa Pompa, this currently puts them in a 3-way tie for 6th with Roots and Northern Ascendancy. Of course, if the point totals were to stay, we would see what the outcome is there in terms of tiebreakers. But a great opportunity for Vesa Pompa, again, to get back into 6th in the league, and a tremendous opportunity for Conquer Gaming to get further away from Dark Horse and at least be able to fight for their rights, to make more references, but to be able to fight for their right to play in the Elite Division. And we lose connection heading into the overtime. Oh, no. Oh, what a horrible time for that. So we're going to be able... oh, that sucks. Oh. That sucks. There is no sheltering that. That is incredibly unfortunate. So we'll get the restart. And then again, first goal will win. The good thing is there's no real difference there. The final couple minutes are a little bit slower in overtime. As I was going to say here to set the stage, and I agree with Auntie in the chat, if there was ever a time to lose connection, it's right there. I will take that. That is the least problematic of the disconnects. If it has to happen, that's the time to do it. But as I was going to say, to kind of wrap up that point, a point apiece for both teams is incredibly beneficial. Certainly, I don't think either team will be complaining after 60 minutes of regulation there.
No, the teams that were between them in the standings might be complaining that both of them ended up getting a point out of this. But, that's neither of these teams, responsibilities on that. They're, you don't have to play for the teams in front of you, certainly, or behind you in that case. But yeah, so going to overtime, and I mean, it's awful to lose the momentum of a game, to have to do the reconnect and reset everything. But, it basically will play out the same. It's just the first one. It'll be interesting to see how any energy momentum carries over when you have that disconnect. I'm sure for Conquer Gaming, they would have rather just gotten right into OT rather than have this slight delay. But for Vesa Pompa to have that bit of a delay, okay, you recover a little bit maybe. But it is next goal wins regardless. We don't have to wait 15 minutes for the teams to send kill off some clock and send the puck out of play or anything, as we saw earlier on. But these game ones today, I tell you,
it's been something. It's just been a cursed day here. But we do have actually a screenshot of the stats here available to us. 10 shots to 6 in favor of Conquer Gaming to that point, but the big difference in time on attack, Vesa Pompa 7.5 minutes to 4 minutes and 12 seconds for Conquer Gaming. It really does go along, with how we called it out. Just Vesa Pompa taking over at times, but all it takes is that one chance for some of these lower level teams. If you can hold on for long enough, and we saw it there with Conquer Gaming, Kapako, the captain, again, getting that tying goal. But for the most part, everything else is close. I mean, the passing percentages are close. The face-offs, just a +1 advantage for Vesa Pompa in that regard. So, again, I don't know who that benefit or who you really want to praise in that situation. Again, is it just Vesa Pompa continuing to kind of struggle compared to what we saw from them earlier on this season, or is it Conquer Gaming stepping up at the most important time in their season? Tough to say, but again, regardless, it's a good result for both teams picking up those points as we mentioned. And again, for a team like this, you look at, I should say, for a team like Conquer Gaming, you look at the effort that this would have taken. You look at a team that, again, we've talked about it quite a bit, has had some playoff success. Like I said, I mentioned that big save percentage as well for your Resty back when they earned promotion to the Elite Division. They've been able to hold it now for 2 seasons. I don't think you want to drop down. Obviously, at this stage, you never want to drop down and have to go through that pro division grind. Maybe some teams do. I don't know. Maybe because you can't really get that. The rebuild on the fly process is dangerous for some teams, like we've seen. So hey, maybe going down to the pro division, saying, all right, let's regroup, shuffle the roster a little bit, maybe find some of those hidden gems that we always see teams bring up from the lower 3 tiers. But regardless, again, good situation for both teams here, but a crucial second point up for grabs. And of course, as you may have seen in chat there, one of our other tiers here through NHL Gamer, of course, not only the ECL on the European side of things, but of course we have the Russian side of things as well with the pro division there, a champion crowned in one Nova. Of course, the number 1 seed as well, sweeping the finals over Showtime. So that is a team, of course, that has had some success in the past as well. So a lot going on under the NHL Gamer banner. Again, NHLGamer.com if you haven't checked it out. And maybe an update on the North American side coming soon. Might just be pulling that out of thin air to put pressure on people who don't want pressure to be on them, but it's too late now. It's been said. Those words can't go back.
It's in the universe. It's been put out there, and it's now the responsibility of the powers that be to see how they're going to react on that.
Absolutely.
So we've got this as the teams have relocated each other. This is overtime number 1. The next goal will win it. Vesa Pompa controlling the puck off of the draw. I normally like to get a pick for each side of the Butchie overtime challenge, but I'm going to wait until there's a stoppage just in case here because we are in overtime. First goal will win it. As we have even updated the scoreboard for you to show you that it is overtime. Quick little feed. When the beautiful move, Ekin puts it away just that quick. 2 points for Vesa Pompa in the standings.
Busy talking about the scoreboard. Vesa Pompa are making plays. Shows how quickly things can happen in the Elite Division. Ekin with his 5th game-winning goal of the season. If you can't get it to Yergel, you get it to Ekin in these situations. His 12th goal of the season. So again, nearly half of his goals are game winners. The first shot of this overtime, and it's Vesa Pompa walking away with that crucial extra point. And that, again, we've seen it a couple of times now just here today in this broadcast. Well, upon those restarts, you often see very quick goals because, again, just the flow of the game is lost. Unfortunate for Conquer Gaming, but again, a gigantic point picked up for them at the very least. It's not as devastating of a situation as it might seem.
Yeah, we actually saw that in game 1, too, if my memory serves me correctly. The game 1 of our first doubleheader where we had the disconnect with about 2 minutes left to go in the first. It was no score, and then Honelli scored, in those final 2 minutes, which is not a lot of time in real time. It's about, 30 seconds that we're talking about. So, so Vesa Pompa picking up 2 big points in the standings. They're now up to 32 points on the season. That allows them to resurpass Northern Ascendancy in the standings, and I believe bumps them up back towards 6th, or at least very close to it.
Yes, that puts them That puts them over the limit, I believe. Now back up to 32 points on the season. So they are in sixth. If they want the chance at catching Yippee Vaskala, who are on 35 points, obviously a big 2 points up for grabs here for Vesa Pompa. But indeed, they're back up into sixth, which is where they started today prior to the first few games that we covered here in this broadcast. So good for them to get a little bit of the pressure off of their shoulders, but still a lot to fight for at this stage.
Yeah, so Conquer Gaming gets 1 point. They now have 18 points in the standings because they had gone 1-1 earlier on today. So now they're 1-1-1 for the day. Going into game 2 here, they'd obviously like to pick up at least one more point, earn that, if you can earn 2 points, if you're in that kind of situation, you're improving your status at least a little bit. You clearly would like to come away with 3, but I think going overtime in game 2 would at the very least give them something else. So we're going to get ready now for game 2. That's kind of the one downside about disconnecting going into overtime, is that you have that big time where they're trying to reconnect. Then you have what amounted to 30 seconds of gameplay, and now we do it all over again before going to game number 2. So going into game 2, Tugi, just kind of what are you expecting? How much does that disconnect overtime goal in the first 30 seconds play into game number 2?
I mean, it's a very big factor, but as they say, the best things in life aren't free. You're going to have to wait to hear that analysis on the flip side of this lovely word from our friends at Wilhelm.
Wilhelmin ykköskentän pakkeina uudet tulokkaat. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.
I'm starving. He's Tugi, probably also somewhat hungry after seeing that ad. And we're going to be ready for our fourth and final game of this NHL Gamer broadcast. Conquer Gaming looking to split the series here with Vesa Pompa, who just picked up a 2-1 overtime victory after a disconnect-reconnect going into OT. Tugi, I had set you up, and then you set up the Wilhelm plug, which we always appreciate on them, and really will appreciate it even more once we can get that here in North America to be able to sample it properly. But your keys, what kind of going into this game 2, how much does that, the way that game 1 ended, play into game 2 here?
I mean, again, it's a huge factor here, although I don't want to bury the lead of a question from Centauri in chat, noticing the mask behind you that is currently off screen to your right, I do believe. I don't know if we can cut back to the other screen here because I tried to get to it before we jumped to the screen, but it's okay. There we go. We have it. He shouted it out as a Rey Mysterio mask. It's not a Rey Mysterio mask. I can call that out.
It is not, although I did actually, there is a Rey Mysterio mask. I can actually stand up really quick and I'll get that for you. I have 4 over here. So this is the Rey Mysterio mask right there.
He's got one. There you go.
Yep, I got it. Wearing a Colorado Rockies hat. But yeah, this one, I actually got all of those in Mexico City at a CMLL show.
I'm incredibly jealous.
About a year and a half ago. So this is, I believe it's Caristico, who is the former Sin Cara in WWE, as we're getting ready to drop the puck here on game number 2. In the white with the very bright yellow numbers going up on your screen is Vesa Pompa. In the black and red is Conquer Gaming. On the other side, by the way, I have the Cero Miedo mask from Pentagon Jr., currently signed to All Elite Wrestling, as well as Jessica Aguilar, who's wearing the Penguins hat. She is a UFC fighter, MMA fighter from Mexico, who likes to wear that to the octagon when she is fighting in MMA. So that's the only one I did not get in Mexico.
The best thing about this is we're commentating over a niche esports scene, which I love with all my heart, talking about another very niche interest in professional wrestling.
It goes hand
if we're
in
not
hand.
here to entertain ourselves, Drew, what are we here to do?
Well, we're talking about the goals that are being scored, because Vesa Pompa, just like that, getting on the board, making it a 1-0 game here in game 2. Jurgeli getting the first tally of the contest. Ekin
credited to Ekin unassisted. I thought you were right there on the call. A lot of traffic there in front. Ekin picking things up where he left off. He scores the overtime winner in the last game and gets another one here. So scoring some big time goals for Vesa Pompa as they continue to try and work their way back That is a brutal start, though, for Conquer Gaming. Again, you did well. You did get that little bit of extra insurance, but you never really know if it's going to be enough. So time will tell here if it is. I mean, again, you're looking directly at a chance at moving up, but you're looking at Dark Horse. They have some very rough matchups here. You should be safe, but now it's a matter of trying to secure a more favorable matchup in the relegation playoffs.
About 6.5 minutes gone by, and here comes Vesa Pompa yet again with possession behind the net. Delayed penalty call is coming, and it will be a power play for the team with the 1-0 lead. An interference call against Conquer Gaming.
A big chance here for the power play of Vesa Pompa to go to work. Top 6 in the league against the 13th rated penalty kill of Conquer Gaming. Great opportunity for Vesa Pompa to add to the lead, although we see an early clearance there for Conquer.
They won that draw and sent it the length of the ice. So about 90 seconds left in the power play as they go offside. It'll be a neutralized faceoff. So Conquer Gaming, if they can win this draw, might be able to kill off the first half of this penalty. It's a big ask, though. Ekin in the circle, tied up, and the puck does indeed go to Conquer Gaming. They move it out, but they can't get it all the way down. Banked off the boards, and on goal, Uresti plays it towards the corner, and not quite out of the zone. Held in, D-to-D pass. Now down low, behind the net, circling, back up top to the defenseman, winds and fires a big blast, and a save made by Uresti, covering up for the whistle. 39 seconds left on his team's penalty kill.
Crazy deflection from there as well. Point blank range. Still didn't find the to the back of the net. Vesa Pompa still in on the attack, though.
Cleared out of the zone, and that will do it for most, if not all, of this Vesa Pompa power play here as they're down to the final 5 seconds of the man advantage. They enter the zone onside. We're back to 5-on-5, 6v6. The puck taken away, unable to clear it out. Maybe would have been an opportunity for that home run pass attempt, but could not connect, could not get the pass even out of the zone. But Conquer Gaming scoops it up and trying to move out after having successfully killed off the penalty for the first time in this doubleheader. It was actually the first power play opportunity we saw for either team in this doubleheader thus far.
Good bit of defense on display there as well. I mean, you look here for Conquer Gaming, it's a matter of just kind of mitigating the damage here after a slow start. You talk about a team that has now lost, as we talked about, now 7 consecutive one-goal games. Again, just not a team that's been able to get the job done in these close situations, but you want to at least give yourself that opportunity. You can't let this game get away from you.
Laying the stick on the ice to take that away was Yurtsik as it's played out, and now sent back into the zone by Vesa Pompa. Scooped up by Conquer Gaming behind the goal line, and now moving out with it. Kepiko made that long pass, and a couple passes later, they're in the offensive end. Conquer Gaming back up top, now down low yet again. Center Yurtsik with it in the corner. Battling for it, turned over, but can they take it right back? They cannot. It's scooped up by Ekin and moved out of the zone. Forced off the puck. And Conquer Gaming now moving it on ahead. Nice little poke check, forcing the separation. Puck kept in the zone, but that little pass did not have enough energy on it to get down low. And Vesa Pompa sent it back towards neutral ice. Nice little spin move for Villapoika in the offensive end with a little bit of space. Centering feed. That one came back to him and was put off the side of the net. Centered again. On goal. Save made. And Uresti covers up with under 3 minutes to play in the first period.
That was Ekin again on the doorstep. Looked like he might have been aiming 5-hole on that one. Just couldn't find its way through. But keep an eye on Ekin. I think he has to be the big X factor here for the Vesa Pompa offense. The centerman there. We'll get another chance to keep up that offensive pressure here on a big-time faceoff.
And Uresti just having to cover up as the puck was right in front of him. Ekin trying to maybe win this one back to Seb Larson. We'll see what he could do, but it's won cleanly by Yurtsik. Unable to clear the zone, though. Nice keep, intercepted, now turned right back over. Viltsa recovering and allowing the puck to get back towards neutral ice. He's separated from the puck by a pair of attackers from Vesa Pompa. They'll send it into the zone on goal, played by the stick of Uresti, and now back towards neutral ice. Approaching the final real-time 10 seconds here of the first period. Vesa Pompa out of the zone. Can't do anything with it. Taken right back. Final 3 seconds. Will we get a shot on goal to close out the period? Maybe a chance. Down low. Save made. And that is the horn to close out the period. 1 goal scored. It was unassisted by Ekin to make it a 1-0 game after 1.
Best chance of the period there for Conquer Gaming right at the end. Again, whether or not it comes down to Vesa Pompa just kind of taking their foot off the gas a little bit, who's to say? But again, maybe a bit of room, an opportunity to create an offensive foothold, use that as a building block heading in to the second period. But so far, Vesa Pompa certainly looking like the superior team. I'll point out as well, I'm sure you'll appreciate this because, again, it's been an interesting day for us here. I know it's the one thing. Of course, when I'm not doing the play-by-play, I certainly just, wing it a little bit more and have a little bit more fun, hence the talk of Rock'em Sock'em robots and everything else. And I'm sure you'll be happy to know it's tough to pay attention to the chat when you're doing the play-by-play. But I'm sure you'll be happy to know that the most recent comments have been about Batista and The Undertaker.
I mean, a fantastic pair of sports entertainers, each in their own right. And Batista also absolutely hilarious in the Guardians of the Galaxy movies.
The MCU is something I'm currently making my way through with the girlfriend here, so I am excited to get to the Guardians of the Galaxy films.
I have only actually seen, I think, 3 movies from the MCU, both Guardians movies, and as weird as it sounds, Iron Man 3. Considering feet, a nice little shoulder save made as it's covered up by Yoreski.
The worst Iron Man, as I have been informed. The girlfriend has seen some of them. Yeah, Kenny, we're talking about this. Having just started it, Captain Marvel's amazing. Check that out. But I'm new to it as well, and I've been warned about Iron Man 3 already. About as bad of a movie as that block was good, to bring it back to the hockey side of things.
Interesting.
My best Joe Buck there.
I have heard similar, but I have nothing really to compare it to. I didn't mind it when I saw it in theaters, but I had no idea of the backstory on stuff because I hadn't seen either of the first 2. I have seen the first 3 games that we've broadcast today because obviously I've been part of the broadcast for all of them. As that one sent all the way back in and chasing it down. The first one to get there is going to be Villapoika, centering feed on the one-timer, and just like that, it is now 2-0. Ekin, yet again, 3 consecutive goals that he has scored.
And that is devastating for Conquer. I mean, yes, you picked up the point in the last game, but we have an update from other matchups going on right now. And again, Conquer, as it stands, have had 4 points on Dark Horse, but Dark Horse were able to just sneak a point away from Havu. They lost 3-0 in the first game and then got to overtime in the second. So Dark Horse might not be entirely down and out down the back stretch here of the regular season. So that is a huge goal for Vesa Pompa and gives Conquer just a little bit more to think about here. I mean, certainly another overtime appearance would be incredibly helpful to them to make sure they avoid that bottom spot.
Plenty of time left to try and work their way back into this game as we're less than halfway through this contest. Approaching that mark, though, and here's another big opportunity for Vesa Pompa. Down low with the puck, but they cannot work it back towards the low slot. Delayed penalty is coming. It will be a power play chance coming up for Conquer Gaming. Vesa Pompa has to possess the puck first to get to that point, and they finally do. So with 10:14 to go here in the second, a tripping minor against Vesa Pompa.
They really, really need this power play goal here. Get back into this one. We're halfway through this game. It's been a rough start. One shot can change it. It was a big blocker save by FaZe.
Viltza nearly changed it just like that. A couple of big passes and nice little shot, but a save was made. Puck in deep yet again. Now working with some space. Conquer Gaming centers on that one-timer. The save made. The puck still loose. It'll be taken and cleared out very well by Villapoika.
That was tremendous puck movement as well from the Conquer Gaming power play. Didn't really know if they had that in their locker at this stage, but because we haven't seen it too much this season, but tremendous pressure there. But down to now under 30 seconds left on this power play after that clearance. You get a chance for a rush here, as long as you don't miss too many drop passes.
There's a chance to at least set something up, but taken away at the worst possible time. Breakout pass. Sev Larson was caught, though. He knew it, so he did not really try to force it as the defender got back just in time. Nasty time for a turnover and a delayed penalty. Speaking of nasty, a big hit right behind the net. That will be a charge. And after Conquer Gaming goes 0 for 1 on their power play chance, it's now a power play opportunity for Vesa Pompa. What can they do with it? Can they extend their lead from 2-0?
Down to defenseman here on Conquer as well. Talon me is to the box. We'll see how it affects them. Start off strong, though, with that clearance.
90 seconds left to go here on the power play. Chance sent in deep, but taken away by Yurtzik and cleared the length of the ice. Chasing it down, Lemanis. Now moving with it. Entering the zone onside. 50 seconds left on the penalty kill as Viltsa steals it away and sends it all the way down. Looking for that Omaha play, but an unfortunate bounce for Vesa Pompa as that one went off a body and into the bench area. And now a defensive zone face-off here.
It's a
28
huge
seconds
break.
left in the power play.
Huge break for Conquer. Yurtzik not able to win the draw, though.
To start the rush, but can't complete it. 10 seconds left on the PKs. It's sent back from blue line to blue line. And we're back to 5-on-5, 6v6 hockey. Fresh out of the box is Kalinmies. I think they were trying to get him the puck. The defenseman was up ahead because this is the second period, so out from the far penalty box. But could not get anything going, and now the puck in their own end. Conquer Gaming starts it out. Under 4 minutes to play here in period number 2. We've seen one goal in this period by Ekin after one goal in the first period. Also by Ekin. Long shot goes wide from the point. Pinching in as the defenseman, knocked off the puck, but taking it right back is Viltsa with some space, tried to center. Bending down to block that pass was Ekin, doing just about everything for his team in this contest. And back at center ice, moved on ahead. Conquer Gaming trying to reset and get something going here before the second period comes to an end. Vesa Pompa with it, plays it back to the defenseman. Romanens on ahead, gets across the blue line, now onside with a chance. Quick little wrister, blocked away towards the corner. Centered back again, the shot turned aside. Uresti tested and made the save. Final 6 seconds of this second period. Can we get a shot on goal to close out the frame? Did not quite get on net as Lemanitz knocked it down, and that does it for the second period. And just like in the first, we see one goal scored, and it's by Vesa Pompa.
And breathe, Farbsy. That was an extended run of play there. These two teams, a very fast-paced second period here after a couple of stoppages there to start things off. But again, for Conquer, it just goes from bad to worse. Ekin right now, again, has the last 3 goals, as you mentioned, in this contest. And I'm really starting to struggle to find a way to see Conquer get back into this one. Anything can happen. We have seen some crazy, beyond improbable turnarounds, and 2 goals can evaporate very, very quickly. For Conquer right now, though, again, we've talked about the struggles for Viltsa and Yurtzik up top. And again, we still haven't seen them be able to find that goal-scoring touch. Now is the time. Again, Dark Horse is right there on your tail. You have no sense of security right now in terms of avoiding that automatic relegation spot.
Just for the sakes of anyone to watch, oh, big break there. Nice little block on the breakout pass for Villapoika. Centered on goal and just rolled through the blue paint and harmlessly towards the corner as Conquer Gaming trying to cut that lead in half. I was going to say, for the purposes of anybody who might be playing, broadcaster cliche bingo, the 2-goal lead, the worst lead in hockey, according to somebody who obviously has never had a 1-goal lead. Quick little shot taken, save is made. 2-point lead is probably the worst lead you could have in basketball. But even then, you could still be 1 point. That's a free throw, but I don't know if that really makes much of a difference. Anyway, 5 minutes gone by here in the third. Quick little wraparound try, trying to tuck it in on the backhand with Yurtzik. I think he hit the iron. I may have heard a little bit of the post there. A little bit of help for FaZe.
We wouldn't be here right now if this was the case. But how I wish you were around in, say, the 30s or the 40s, so you could have set the standards for these sayings, and maybe they'd make just a little bit more sense on some instances.
Don't get me started on the term unanswered goals, because that's we don't have enough time left in this broadcast for that. You want to talk about expressions that I absolutely despise. Chance for Vesa Pompa in the offensive end. Getting it in deep. Now trying to center from the corner. It was Villapoika, but it was taken away, and Conquer Gaming moves out. Skating with it is Viltsa. In the offensive end, it was taken away by Jurgeli, and now moved on as the defenseman Lemanitz, trying to find a little bit of space and also doing a great job of killing some time here before making that long pass up for Jurgeli, which resulted in a turnover. Breakout pass. Here comes Tathanov. Drop back for the center. Cross ice pass looking for Viltsa, but it was read and intercepted 100% of the way Vesa Pompa knew exactly what was coming, and now here, one-timer, they score. Jurgeli getting on the marker, does a headstand, and it's a 3-0 lead.
The team's leading goal scorer has another one. What a feed from Ekin, and that is, without a doubt, the theme of these two games. We've seen some highlight reel moments from the defenseman in the last game, but Ekin has absolutely taken over. Now a 3-0 Vesa Pompa lead. I think it's safe to say 6th place in the standings will securely be theirs after this matchup. And Conquer Gaming right now looking at walking away. Great chance there. Looking at walking away with just 1 point out of this matchup. It's going to continue to be a stressful week for them. Unfortunately, the positives of their game just not able to really bear fruit at this point. I thought it was going to go a little bit better for them, if I was to be honest. They have another great chance here. Pass across and they score. I'll take that one. The big opportunity there. So the commentator's curse lives on here, Drew, because just when you think, as the great Roddy Piper once said, just when you think you have all the answers, the questions change. And this one might not be over.
That's why the 3-goal lead is the 2nd worst lead in hockey. It's just the way it goes.
But nobody can say that a 5-goal lead isn't the 15th worst lead in hockey.
Oh boy, 7.5 minutes still to go, and that last minute is in real time. So plenty of time left at this point. If you're Conquer Gaming, you probably only want to be down by 1 entering that final real-time minute to give you a chance to pull the goalie perhaps and get 1 more on the board. You do have to make sure that Vesa Pompa does not get some big scoring chances. They nearly had one there, but well defended by the skaters for Conquer Gaming. Could not get it all the way into the offensive end, though. And here comes Vesa Pompa the other way, chipped on ahead and sent wide towards the corner. You saw what they were trying to do as Jurgeli threw that pass, just try to pitch it on forward to somebody else on his team. But here comes a charging player for Conquer Gaming, trying to set something up. Nice little poke check. Villapoica chasing it down, can't get there first. The defense recovering for Conquer Gaming would have been a dangerous player to give a breakaway to. Rips that shot. Villapoica just spinning and firing and nearly sent it on goal. Did not quite do it, though. Good little forecheck, but getting it right back was Telenmies for Conquer Gaming. That allows them to move it on ahead. Final 2 minutes of the 3rd period. 2-goal lead. Quick slap shot blocked in traffic and never made it all the way through, but held in by Conquer Gaming. Chipped on ahead into the corner. Probably not the bounce that Conquer was looking for in that kind of a situation. Puck goes length of the ice. No icing. Final real-time minute. Conquer Gaming running out of time. Down by 2. Puck back towards neutral ice. Nice little poke check delivered by Vesa Pompa, and now offside with just under 48 seconds left to play.
You know, unfortunately, I think for Conquer Gaming, they got caught a little bit too much looking for the plays that they wanted as opposed to the plays that were there. And it's a mistake, of course, that's easy to make because you want to just default the muscle memories to go to the high-quality chances, but just not there. I think some wasted opportunities as a result. Still 35 seconds left, though. You never know.
Vesa Pompa trying to put this one away by either taking up too much time or by putting the puck in the net yet again. They lose it with about 27 seconds left. Here comes Conquer Gaming on the rush, but they lose possession. It's going to be sent all the way down, chasing it down and beating out the icing. Villapoica. That should do it for the game, but we'll see. Here comes a rush for Conquer Gaming. Maybe a little bit of time left. 9 seconds, it's centered, taken away. That was really their last gasp chance. A power play as well coming from Vesa Pompa on the trip. And with just under 6 seconds to go, that will do it. It is going to be 2 more points for Vesa Pompa, who will pick up the full 4 in this one. The tie up off the draw, backing up, spins it on net. And that is that. A 3-1 final score. Vesa Pompa up to 34 points in the standings after the sweep of Conquer Gaming, who does earn 1 point for their overtime loss in Game 1.
A very big day there for Vesa Pompa. Again, moving up into 6th, resecuring 6th. Now just 1 point back of Jyväskylä in 5th, 2 points back of Färjestad and H-Reds in 4th and 3rd, respectively. So Vesa Pompa's season, they really are that buffer team. They could finish much higher than where they are right now. Really anywhere 3 to 8 is up for grabs at this stage. So their playoff destiny very much far from being set in stone. But then again, that is the case for basically everybody in the Elite Division right now. For Conquer Gaming, I mean, again, 16 points. They are now 2 points back of Team Leisure, who are directly ahead of them in 14th, but they still have 2 games at hand. So right now for Conquer Gaming right now, the big thing is, you're 4 points clear of Dark Horse. From what we know, it might be a little bit less than that. You got to hope if you're Conquer Gaming, at least taking a point off of a playoff team in Vesa Pompa is enough. And again, if you look at the Conquer Gaming schedule ahead, it's SJ Gaming and Roots on Wednesday and Thursday. So still a good chance, an opportunity to take points off of some teams. Roots in the playoffs, SJ Gaming trying to work their way in. It's a little bit of a tough schedule. We'll see if Conquer Gaming have done enough to at least earn the right to try and fight to avoid being relegated instead of that automatic relegation spot. But Drew, the funny thing is we go through the games today, and while the picture becomes a little bit more clear, it's tough to say that we know that much more right now than we did 2 hours ago when this broadcast started. The races in the playoffs are for the playoffs here and in the relegation zone. It's that close.
Yeah, it's incredible. And Conquer Gaming, by the way, just leading into this, they did play 2 games earlier today where they went 1-1. So they entered the doubleheader with 17 points, now sitting at 18 points. Maybe a little bit more separation between them and the 16 spot, but still not a ton. And there are still some games left to be played for every team this season. But Vesa Pompa did exactly what they had to do. They knew that it didn't matter if they gave up 1 point to Conquer Gaming in that first game. They came away with 4 huge 4 points for them, especially responding to seeing the way that Northern Ascendancy had played and Kova played earlier, to see the way that doubleheader went as best as they could. 4 points out of a possible 4 for them in the standings. I always like, after we're done with the doubleheader of doubleheaders, to kind of get a 3 stars of the broadcast. So across all 4 games that we saw, I think that last time I basically picked the first star and just said that there was no discussion to be had. I think we're basically in that position again, where it has to be Ekin. 3 consecutive goals scored, an overtime winner, what amounted to be the game winner in game number 2 with a pair of goals for him in that one and an assist. He has to be the first star. But as far as the other 2 stars go, that number 2, number 3, across all 4 teams that we saw, who would you pick out? I'm trying to stall to give you more time to kind of go through and pick some players. So I'm giving a very elaborate lead in to you as I say, second and third star, who you got?
It's a tough call. I mean, from Vesa Pompa, I think you nailed it. It's Ekin, head and shoulders above everybody else. From there, it's a little bit rough. I mean, Conquer Gaming, you could give a star to Kapako just for the fact that he was able to get that team to overtime with that goal. You can't really overstate the importance of that extra point for the sake of their season. But aside from that, I don't really know if anyone really stood out. I think Uresti might have, just off of just for the fact that he kept his team relatively in it. And then from our first matchup between Kova and Northern Ascendancy, I think I got to point out a Zip player from Kova Esports. I thought he had a pretty solid game as well. So if I had to name another 2, I think it would be Zip player from Kova Esports and Supreeks from Northern Ascendancy as well, who had a tremendous shutout victory in the second game of that matchup, where they were getting shelled for the vast majority of that game. He held on strong. They got the 1 goal right at the end to seal it. And that was, again, a phenomenal performance that we were looking from him to help keep Northern Ascendancy in the playoff mix. And right now, I mean, they are 4 points clear of their biggest threat in SJ Gaming, who do have 2 games at hand and could equal them on points. But they're another one of those teams where you look at the schedule ahead now for an SJ Gaming, so to speak. And again, not the not the easiest schedule. They do play Conquer Gaming next, valuable points there, but then they play Vesa Pompa. So you look at the 3 stars, it all comes back to the schedule and a ridiculous finish that we're going to have here in the next 2 broadcasts on Wednesday and Thursday.
Definitely going to be interesting to see the way that the rest of the season plays out, the way that the postseason seeding ends up working, and who ends up in that battle to avoid relegation, who which team ends up locked into that 16 spot, which Conquer Gaming earning a point in this doubleheader and 3 points out of 4 games may have worked their way out of the at least not where they're being actively threatened to be dropped down to 16th. So it'll be interesting to see the way that goes. And yeah, the last week of the season, the playoffs are around the corner. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with all of that. And Tugi, it's been good being with you here on the broadcast. And as always, I like to give you the last word. So what do you got? Take us home. Or we are looking at one more thing too before we wrap things up.
Yeah, ready to throw to that. Ready to throw to that. We are good to go. Actually, apparently we're going to throw to two different things here. We do have the updated standings for you guys here really quickly. So perhaps not the last word that you've heard from Drew, but there you see the updated standings right now. You have Havu Gaming reclaiming their top spot over Philadelphia, relevant for what else I'm about to bring up. But there you see as well, Vesa Pompa securely into 6th. And like we said, Northern Ascendancy with a little bit of breathing room over Kova Esports now with 4 points. But SJ Gaming are the ones to really look at right now as the team that can potentially catch Northern Ascendancy. But I think Kova, unfortunately, dropping that second game, you hate to use words as harsh as they blew it, but likely they blew it. Northern Ascendancy only needing to walk away with a few points here to really secure that. So we'll see what happens. Still a long way to go. And to mention the top 2 in Havu in Philadelphia, of course, you'll be able to catch us right back here on Wednesday. It'll be myself alongside Sin. He will be back for the first time in a little bit over a week as we will be covering Vesa Pompa, who you've seen in action today. They'll be taking on Yippee Voskala, of course, a very important matchup there. And then will it be a championship preview once more? We finally get to cover it. We had to wait all season for it. Havu Gaming and Philadelphia meeting in the regular season to set the stage to bring us into the playoffs. Beyond excited for that one, of course. Drew, anything else to add here before I guess I lead us out with a lovely mention of our sponsor, of course?
I mean, that matchup, that second one, I mean, just to see that again, it's amazing. And it's so, I think it's kind of fitting. It's nice to see the way that one is positioned at the end of the season, because you get to basically see just how good they are. Where there's no, oh, well, they already played their head-to-head, so one of them has 2 regulation losses. They're going to be entering that matchup with a combined 1, maybe 2 regulation losses between those teams, having played basically everybody else in the league. That's, I mean, it makes for an incredible thing when you're basically looking at, to reference a previous discussion, an Undertaker at WrestleMania like win-loss record facing off against another Undertaker at, you know, in a basically regular season finale, the go home Raw before WrestleMania, basically. So it'll be interesting to see the way that goes.
Indeed, something's got to give in that regard. With that, Drew, I think we're both good to head out of here. Again, it was tremendous working with you once more.
You as well.
Again, we'll have to do it again sometime, maybe heading towards the playoff season. Of course, you can catch Drew on Twitter at Drew Goldfarb, and here, there, and everywhere. The man does a ton, and we're thankful for his time here with us at NHL Gamer. Of course, you can catch me pretty much everywhere at Tuki24, right here on Twitch, Twitter, YouTube, the whole shebang. Thank you very much for joining us. We will see you on Wednesday. And as we head out, don't forget to check out Wilhelm. Just Wilhelm.
Wilhelmin ykköskentän pakkeina uudet tulokkaat. Sour Cream Snacks ja Flaming Hot Snacks. Kotikatsomoissa mukana Wilhelm Snacksit.